guys.
Evil Squid Comics Podcast 2.0, episode 13. Sorry.
Lucky 13.
Yeah.
No, that's okay.
Lucky 13.
I'm Drew.
I'm Don.
I'm Scott.
And we get together and talk about comic books, toys, movies, how bad the Justice League movie is going to be,
It's
things
got
like that.
Decent reviews some places. I don't know. It's kind of up and down, I think.
Did I mention to you guys the best thing about the Justice League movie? It's only like 2 hours long.
It's less than 2 hours.
I see 2 hours and 1 minute was the.
No, I thought I saw like an hour and 50 minutes.
Well, just come in after the previews.
Well, that maybe that includes trailers. I'm not sure.
Come in after the trailers.
Okay.
And then leave right when the credits start, and you might be under 2 hours.
Yeah, but I hear there's a couple little bonus scenes.
Oh, they're doing the Marvel thing?
They're doing the Marvel thing.
Well,
I think I've heard that there's 2.
You can see them on YouTube. Like Monday.
Yeah, I guess that's probably true.
Nice. Whatever works.
If you want to get out of there.
Cool.
I don't know. I'm not going to see it.
I have a movie pass, so I'm debating whether it's worth it.
Did you get that movie pass?
Yeah.
Yay!
See, I would probably go.
And it works then just great, huh?
It worked one time, didn't work the other time.
Oh, right.
But I think the app was just acting up. So
Okay.
They screwed me on like the last 3 movies, so I'm gonna wait for video.
I don't know if you were hosed on Wonder Woman because you did rent it. You didn't go see.
Yeah,
it in
no,
the theater.
but I still felt hosed.
What last 3 movies? You didn't go see Suicide Squad in the theater.
Yeah, but I rented it. I bought it.
You bought that? Ooh, sorry.
Oh, well, that's your own fault.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, it's kind of like this. Like we didn't go see it, and
I do admit though, I was a dummy and I went to the theater for that one, and to the theater for freaking.
but I did save money just buying the DVD.
Didn't actually take your whole
actually taking
family.
my
No, that
family.
makes sense.
But so it was one of those things where we hadn't seen it, and Barbara wanted to see it, and Lily wanted to see it, so we just bought it.
Well, Redbox has it for like about $50.
Man, Lily watched it like 5 times.
Okay.
So that's your target audience right there. Like
13-year-olds,
13-year-olds.
12-years.
For which one?
The crap out of Suicide
Suicide
Squad.
Squad.
Suicide Squad. You know,
Scott liked
Suicide? I like some of the acting. I didn't like that movie all that well.
Oh, okay.
That movie has got some.
I'm gonna go back to a
serious
previous
problems.
episode where Scott said he liked it.
Well,
I said it was probably not near as bad as maybe what some people have seen. I don't know for sure. No, where I
I'm
debated you
just-
guys
actually-
big time was Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Out
So,
of
where I'm
Wonder
part of
Woman
the
and-
mass amount of people.
Out of Wonder Woman and Dark Knight, I would say Suicide Squad is probably the better of those 3 movies.
Dark Knight.
The last Superman versus Batman.
Oh, I was gonna say.
And what was the third
not
one?
Dark Knight.
Golly.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder
Suicide-
Woman.
I was seriously
No,
thought he had some
Superman
problems with
versus
this.
Batman.
Wonder Woman is
and
the
Suicide
best of the
Squad.
3. Wonder Woman is the best of the 3.
Oh, by far.
I would
By
sit down
far.
and watch Suicide
By
Squad.
far. Nah,
Nope.
I don't know. I mean, the Suicide Squad had a pretty good start. It just seemed so disjointed. And I thought that Will Smith and Margot Robbie were fantastic. And even Diablo guy was really good.
I'm with you with Will Smith.
Honestly, after that,
He was
and
just being
especially
himself.
that point from when they kind of actually all get together and they're walking through the damn city, it just was like, ugh.
He was the
The
only
struggle was
one.
boring.
He was the only one that had any really kind of a story.
Yeah, but he
True,
was,
but
he
so
was just
did
playing the same
so did
character
Harley
he always
Quinn. They were
plays.
doing that type.
Yeah, but it was a crappy story. I hate that version of the Joker.
Indeed.
Yes, it was terrible. It's horrible. Joker does not have a grill and tattoos everywhere.
That Joker did.
That one did. Yes.
Well, it's not my Joker.
It's somebody's Joker.
it is
It's
now.
apparently a lot of people's Joker.
Yep.
I don't know. I wasn't fond of that Joker either. But then again, I also don't think that Jared Leto did a horrible job either with what he was given, type thing. So
Oh, I don't think he's a bad actor. I just
Thor Ragnarok. Did you see that?
Nope.
This
Oh my
weekend,
gosh, it's great.
I'm
So-
going this week.
But then again, I also liked Wonder Woman, so take that with a grain of salt. Then, so,
I think I like Thor.
but it's almost Guardians of the Galaxy 3 though in a lot of
Yeah.
ways.
I
I mean,
think-
it's probably even funnier than Guardians
It's
of the Galaxy
funny.
2.
It's in space.
So
it's
that's right. There's so many similarities there.
Yeah.
Thor does not take himself too seriously, Chris Hemsworth or whatever type thing. So I mean, there's a lot of funny moments in there, things of that nature. The interaction with him and Loki is good. So, and watch out for the special cameos there, especially early on. There's a couple things. So if you haven't
Cool.
been spoiled with that, because I didn't know any of those. So
Awesome.
it's
Yeah, I'm gonna see it this weekend.
fun time. Fun time.
Cool. I hope to see it sometime, but I don't know if it'll be this weekend or not.
Might as well. Everybody will go be seeing Justice League.
Yeah.
So
It's true. We should go see Thor.
My
So go
plan
see
is
Thor.
to see Thor
Yep.
this weekend.
got my tickets for Last Jedi, I think. So
Nice.
I got a ticket for Last Jedi. So on Thursday night.
Oh, you already bought your ticket?
Well, I didn't buy it, but one of the guys
They went on
it's in the
sale
little
like
group. Yeah.
A long time
like a
ago.
month
Yeah.
ago.
I know.
Yep. So one of the guys picked me up one. I think we're going to see it out here at the East Warren. Kind of sucks because it'll be in that grand auditorium. But on the flip side, it's reserved seating, so that means I can get there like 5 minutes till and still be good. But it's
Mhm.
also in the grand auditorium. It's not stadium, all that other good crap. But
Oh.
beggars can't be choosers, and I know I'll see
Sure.
that movie multiple times anyway, even if it sucks. So
I'll probably
It won't suck.
I'll
It'll
probably
be
wait
decent.
till the week after. Just to let the crowd die down.
a week? What? You're gonna
What?
wait a whole week to see that? You're
This
gonna be
is Star Wars?
stupid. Jeez.
You're silly.
Why would I be stupid?
Because all the spoilers that are gonna be out after that,
Oh.
Yeah. That's
leading up
crazy.
to it
I
is almost
don't-
tough.
That's crazy
I
talk,
live in a
Don.
bubble. I
Is-
live in a bubble in a bubble.
Whatever.
I avoid everything.
Yeah, that's good, I suppose. Man, I mean, hell, just seeing the trailers alone anymore makes me like, I don't want to watch anymore. So,
Wow.
When does it come out?
I think it's December 15th, if I'm correct on that. So I think
Is
it's
that
Friday.
the Friday?
That is the Friday. So the 14th would be the Thursday. So
Gotcha.
I'll say it's Saturday, bro.
You're gonna fight the
I'll
crowd.
probably see it
It's
Saturday
not
as well.
that- there's no crowd if you don't go to the IMAX. Because when I went the last time, I walked past the big line and
Well,
then
and
went
it's
to the
reserved
theater.
seating again at the IMAX. So if
Yeah,
you
but
go
they still
see,
get in line though, like 2 hours before the movie.
why the hell
But you
would
don't
do
have
that?
to.
It's
I
reserved
don't know.
seating.
I
So
wouldn't.
I
But
wouldn't
they
either.
do.
The IMAX is all reserved seating.
Yes, the IMAX is
It's
all reserved seating.
yeah.
So
So
you can
it's
show
numbered?
up. Yes. So you can
Remember?
It didn't used to be that way.
show up. We didn't used to be, but that was like 3 years ago.
I'm just saying, the last movie I saw in that theater was probably Ultron.
Thor.
No, Ultron. I saw Avengers: Age of Ultron.
It had to be probably just after that because I think they started it somewhere around. I think the Force Awakens. I thought maybe not. Maybe it was right after that.
Hmm.
Remember at San Diego at Hall H when somebody stabbed somebody in the eye because they took their seat?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want that to happen in the IMAX.
I know.
So that's why.
Did somebody stab someone
No,
in the eye at the
just,
IMAX?
I just
No.
want to bring that story up. At
Now I
San
know that I
Diego.
went to the super special screening of Age of Ultron because I got the little movie poster that they put on everybody's seat,
Cool.
and it was not reserved when I went to that.
Yeah, probably.
Is Star Wars 3D?
Yes.
Oh, I would imagine it is. okay.
Every big movie's 3D.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, Dunkirk wasn't, and things. There's some
Well, it's
other-
not a popcorn movie.
That's probably true, but that was like a
Not a
freaking. It was
big
still a big
movie.
movie.
No.
Hey, oh, it did. I bet you can look at that, and that thing probably made over 200,000
People, 200 million.
to our 200 million. Yeah,
I don't think it did
So-
domestically.
You don't think so?
Did either of you
I thought
see
Sure,
that
worldwide
movie?
it did. I didn't see Dunkirk.
Did you see it?
No, I haven't.
Okay. That would be kind of freaky in 3D. Like get
Probably
a
so.
bullet shot right at you.
That's
people
right.
Freaking out. Why?
I don't think that's how 3D works. It doesn't
It
like
would
bullets
come right at
come
you.
at
Go,
you.
It's not gonna actually kill you, but people would freak out because there's like bullets coming.
That's
right
not how
at
3D
you.
works.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, I'm excited for Last Jedi. I like to see that.
I'm excited, but
Have you been to a 3D
I-
movie?
Probably not in some time. I don't know.
yeah, it's been. I think Transformers.
Okay, Scott,
The
you go
last
to a lot of
one-
3D movies, right?
No, the last one
Oh,
I
you
actually
don't?
went to was The Force Awakens, just because
Oh, okay.
I really wanted to see
It
that.
could have
one.
been-
So, and I just like that movie. So,
It was like the Transformers with the Witwicky. It
Yeah.
was like that was probably the last one, or maybe the Hobbit,
Okay.
possibly.
oh, that could.
Well, I don't go to 3D movies either, but stuff doesn't fly. It just kind of flies around in front of
floats
you. It
around
doesn't
in front of
come
you.
at you.
It kind of stops before it gets there. And it
Yeah,
kinda
'cause I was
dissolves
like trying to grab stuff at the Hobbit.
Was it going past your face?
No, but I was like, it's right there. It's
That's
like
the way
off to
that-
the side.
Avatar would make you feel.
Really
Ooh,
annoying
look.
to the people around you.
I was on the very end in the front. There was no one around me.
Very-
There's always somebody around you.
Not this
All
way.
around.
No, that's right.
Well, I
That's
tried.
the
I
house.
tried to do it very discreet, so people didn't think I
okay.
was an idiot.
Well, they probably still do.
Like,
All right. Should we talk about some comics? Do we want to talk about the Comic Con? We
How-
kind of already talked
But it
about the
wasn't
Comic
Comic
Con.
Con. I mean, you guys had a good time. Got lots of art. It looks like spent lots of money on art and things. Going running around crazy, trying to feed people, keep people happy. I don't know what the hell else. What else do you end up having to do for the artists and vendors and things?
Mostly
find
just
people
feed
to sit
them.
at their tables.
Oh yeah,
when they
find
do a
people to sit
panel.
at their paid tables. Yeah.
Then track down the microphone when someone wants to make an announcement.
Do you?
That is an issue.
I'm gonna put a beeper on.
Do you have to
those
do
guys
much for
next
the
year.
cosplay contest or anything?
Nope.
Or is that one pretty much just all?
We have a wonderful person named Veronica Lynn, and she
Dowdy.
handles all of it.
Fantastic.
Veronica Dowdy.
Veronica Dowdy. Well, I think it's her like stage name or
Oh,
something.
maybe I just ruined.
But yeah, I
something.
think her real name is Veronica Dowdy. But
Yeah.
I think she goes
No,
by
she
Veronica.
handles everything.
She's pretty
Fantastic.
awesome.
That's good.
Very awesome. Because
Yes.
there's no way we would have time to do that.
Okay.
Or
And that is
that
that
ability
seems
to
to
do.
be a huge part of the Comic Con.
People get
anymore
into
now.
it.
Heck yeah. You know, they're really good. I think you had a fairly decent line even this year on the Saturday in particular, anyway, for people.
Yeah, I
that
think
were
we had like 30
participating.
contestants.
Okay.
I looked at some pictures of the Sunday. It looked like that one was pretty decent.
Yeah, she said we had 7 groups on Sunday.
Nice.
So it was a group cosplay.
Right,
contest on
right,
Sunday.
yeah. I just didn't hear as much about that one as the Saturday one. Boy, it
Yeah,
seemed
Saturday
like they
one's
were,
always big.
they were hooting and hollering and whatever the
Yeah.
heck else, and had a
Yeah.
decent amount. So
Yeah,
it sounded like it was a good time there. And I definitely seen more cosplayers. I felt like on Saturday.
yeah,
than
I
Sunday.
agree.
I was running around Saturday like just like a chicken with my head cut off like all day. So most of the stuff I saw was online. I didn't even know. Did anybody see the dude dressed up like Spawn? That kid.
Huh.
That was like a kick-ass costume, man.
Mm.
There was like there were pictures of it. That's all I saw. Some.
I didn't see.
He was a younger kid, and he had a full-on Spawn costume. It was freaking.
Was the
cool.
kid who was Willy Wonka? Was he the same one that was like Edward Scissorhands?
I
the year
thought
before or
so.
Something like that.
I think
wondered.
so.
I wondered that one too.
I think he won.
He
some
did win
second
something.
place.
So yeah.
Second.
My neighbor was
Really looked great.
the Five Nights at Freddy's thing that won first place in the juniors.
Okay.
Cool.
What's that character called? Like
Oh hell, I wouldn't.
Trip Trap or Snip
I
Snap
don't know
or
any of those things.
I don't even remember seeing
I
that
don't
costume.
follow it.
I
Well,
wouldn't know
somebody
what it is.
loaded pictures on the Facebook page,
I
I
did,
think, or
yeah.
something. Was that it, or the costume contest? And so I just flicked through them. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of them in the cosplay contest that I did not.
I didn't know who they were.
I did not see there myself.
yeah.
So
I'm the worst even when people walk around and do cosplay. I'm like,
Oh,
who is that?
yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I'm
That's true
way
too.
out of it.
Very true.
But
Well, the layout was a little odd for me this year, just because of the fact that it seemed like people, as they were coming in the door, would either pick a left or a right.
yeah,
Yeah.
And so if they went right, I don't think I ever seen them very much because they didn't realize that there was this whole little side thing. And then if they went left, they just kind of did the circle and then came back around too. So I just know that there was a couple of people that came by, we didn't even know you were over here, you know, type thing. So I don't know if that's why I maybe missed some cosplayers or what, because there was a lot that because like the Hulk, I don't think I've seen him for the longest time either. And then I finally seen him when he was like overheated,
Yeah.
because then by that time he was like, came by there or something.
Did you guys see the lizard?
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah. It was funny. He was walking around and someone was like, it might have been like my age person, like a lady,
An old person.
like
Yeah.
a lady, and she's like, who is that? Or what is that? And I was walking by and I'm like, that's the lizard.
Really?
Just kept on walking.
Walking. That's the lizard. That's cool. There's
Yeah,
some
we
really
always
good ones, though.
debate like placement, like what's the best place.
Oh well,
you know?
I think you had
And
either
it's
people
like-
that did the ring,
Yeah.
and because they didn't do as much of the middle, because
Mm-hmm.
the fact that I had people, you know, I think Wizards Asylum saying this, they were just on the other side of me, and they were like, yeah, not as much here, and or you had people that didn't do the ring, and then they just kind of went in the middle. So it was kind of
Yeah.
a weird thing there.
Normally, you think being near the
So-
front is good.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
But sometimes people just rush right by you to get
Oh,
to the
that's
rest
true,
of
too.
the con and then
That's true,
never
too.
come back.
yeah, yeah.
Or they walk by real quick and they're like, yeah, I need to see what else is out here before I spend any money, and they just keep on walking.
Well, like I said, I still had a decent number of people, and I know I was still busy Saturday. It just seemed like a lot of the cosplay ones, I just didn't see
Yeah.
as many this year as I had in years past. But that may have been too, because I think in years past where I was at was like right almost by the damn door where the cosplayers were going to have to go to for
Oh, that's true
the
too.
thing, too,
Yeah.
so-
Yep,
so I
that's
got
true.
to see a whole lot of them. So
We tried to funnel them upstairs this time.
that
so
was
they-
a good
to the
idea.
stage.
Yeah.
I think it worked
You
out
can't.
pretty well.
And how'd the stuff go then with the other areas too, like the board gaming?
Oh, the
people
board
had-
game area was packed on Saturday.
Was it?
Like,
That's
almost,
good.
They had almost
That's
all
good.
the tables full at one point.
He came up and asked me for an extra table.
Yeah.
That's great, great. Good news there. I think that worked out a lot better, being kind of there
Yeah.
off the edge of things. And
Yeah.
the Umbrella Corporation or whatever, they looked like they were having some fun there
Yeah.
too, and had some
They
good
were
stuff
good.
going
They had
on.
Good stuff.
What was the other one that was over there? Oh,
esports.
Well, you had the esports. Did they do okay?
Yeah, they were packed too.
Okay.
And the Grinning Goblin Tavern, they have like one of those VR things or whatever, and she had like a line of people wanting to do the VR.
Fantastic. Now, are they open yet? The Grinning Goblin thing?
I didn't even get a chance to talk. I don't think
I never
so.
talked to her. I know they had like a party for like the people who like supported them on GoFundMe or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know if they're officially open.
And I was gonna try to ask her, and I never got a chance.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? The Nerd Barrage. Didn't they do like
they did
a
a scavenger hunt.
Did that go pretty well?
I think it went pretty well.
Yeah,
It seemed they
I
had
didn't
quite a
hear
few people. It looked like people who did it were having a good high-ho time.
Cool.
They had really cool prizes. I was really hoping more people would do it, but
Oh yeah, I saw this.
Yeah,
I didn't
cool.
see
I should
this.
have told my
There
son
was
to
some
do that
girl,
one.
little kid
With
with
the
a
jetpack.
jetpack that worked.
that worked. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
It shot stuff out.
Oh, it doesn't actually make her hover?
No.
That doesn't work.
Well, then it doesn't work.
The jetpack that works.
Well,
Is she flying around the con?
Is that supposed to be from Tomorrowland or something? Or
I don't know. Let's see. It shoots smoke out. I don't know what it's from.
wow. So it kind of works. It like.
That's what works is.
I know. I was
You're the
gonna
one who
go.
said
Wow.
It's the jetpack that works. I thought she'd at least like hover off the ground a little bit or something.
No kidding.
So,
No.
whatevs.
Yeah.
You said it.
Yeah. What was the? Okay, so there's a guy
There's a guy. Yes, there are
that's
guys.
been at several of the local conventions.
Yes.
And he dresses up like Marty McFly.
Yeah, Jared Vaughn.
He did a cross. What was it? It was Mario McFly. So it was a cross between Mario
Mario
from Mario
and
Brothers
McFly.
and Marty McFly.
Okay.
And then the other guy that was with him cosplays as Doc, the Doc.
Yeah,
From Back to the Future. Yes. Yeah.
But he was like half Batman and half Doc, so he was the Doc Knight. The Doc Knight and Mario McFly.
How long did it take him to come up with that?
I don't know. It's good. Anyway.
Nice.
Yes, I had a blast. I got a ton of artwork. We had all our guests were awesome.
Yes.
It was a huge success. I bought a ton of stuff, comics, art. I had a blast.
It did seem like you had a really good variety of artists, I think, this year and stuff too.
Yeah.
You know, you had a large amount there. I know that's what my kids commented on. I believe in particular was all the artists that were there and things.
Yeah.
And you know, almost maybe not as many even vendors as there were artists. I think I don't know how that went, but
We actually had more.
did you? Okay.
Yeah.
We had just more booths in general because
Yeah.
we crammed them in there because we circled them. The last few years we had the stage open, you know, so you had booths there. And then also what I did I changed the booths from 10x10 to 8x10, so I was able to fit in a whole nother row.
Okay.
Because by the booths being not as deep, I could fit a whole nother aisle.
Wow. Cool.
So I
Get
held
some
the
more people
aisle.
in there. Yeah.
And then also, since we didn't have all the bleachers, like the chairs or whatever, you know,
Right.
I was able to push everything further back, and then I got a longer row too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I was really nervous that it was going to be too crowded for booths, but actually, we're just perfect aisle widths, even at the narrow area.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I did think that was almost a little interesting, or I don't know, maybe odd, or what. I knew that you had to do it with that, so it was wider on one end than the other. But yeah, the wide end just seemed like it was
super wide.
Super wide.
And there's no way to avoid that.
And there's no way to
essentially,
avoid it.
because
Yeah.
it's a friggin' pie.
That's exactly right.
It's a pie.
Exactly right. But yeah, I thought you had plenty of room.
I did have
to
one
do
crazy
that.
floor plan that kind of
So-
avoided that, but I didn't use that.
That's probably a good idea.
Go
Yeah,
this
I don't know
way.
that you could have done much of anything.
Yeah, I had
Instead of
like
going this way.
I had
go
like
this way.
I had a bunch of like arcs like going across the whole floor. You
Oh,
know what I mean?
really?
So the aisles
Okay.
went with
So
the
it
arc.
was, with the arc, okay.
You could do that.
That would be interesting.
I did.
Just make
Little
them,
rainbows, huh?
you could make
Yeah,
them-
exactly.
you could
And then
make
you don't
them-
have that problem, but I didn't do that.
Yeah.
You could make them shorter, and then think of all the end caps.
Yeah, no, exactly. I did. I had I had aisles going both ways. It wasn't just like a long arc. I had a bunch of breaks in the arcs. And stuff.
Yeah, then you got lots of end caps.
Yeah.
It's like,
Little money. Charge for the end caps.
Yes.
we're the cheapest con around.
We got the
Yeah,
cheapest
I
cover.
believe so. Yeah, for the most part.
No, there's other cons.
There's other ones that are
Cheaper
pretty cheap
space.
though, because the other guys were telling me that there was one in St.
Oh.
Louis or something that they can go to, and it was like
$50
tables
for
were
a
cheap.
table.
Yeah, tables were 50 or 70 or something.
Yeah.
So.
Well, ICT cons tables are super cheap.
Not this year.
Is he trying to charge
Have you
more?
put it prices out
No,
yet?
but I can't imagine they will be
Well,
I think
what
it's
about
cheap.
what about Wichicon or
Especially-
Yeah,
whatever? they had?
WitchCon tables are pretty cheap.
They were
more
100.
than us.
So,
No, not
You-
if you got the early bird. I think they were less.
and his early bird, he kept extending to the point where it was
Yeah, 'cause he
flat
couldn't
out
sell
100.
space.
That's
Um,
right.
If what I heard is true, and I think you heard the same thing about ICT,
Yeah.
they won't be able to charge what they charged last year for tables.
I don't know. If they're gonna be at
ICT,
Century
but-
2?
Are they going to be at Century?
think
Weren't
it-
they always at the
it's a
Civic County or
secret.
whatever?
What's
I think
that?
it hasn't been announced.
Well, I don't care. If I know, I know.
Nobody listens anyway.
Nobody listens.
I think
Well, yeah,
it was
they
told
said
in confidence.
Someone was saying that they might be at Century 2, but I asked the guy and he was being kind of, he said he wasn't sure. There's
because
still
he
some
wants
things
it
to
to be
work
a
out.
secret.
He's going to Century 2?
Yeah.
What do you want that to be a secret?
I don't
What
know.
difference does that make? Yeah.
I mean, what's the secret there? It's just the facility.
Yeah.
The big secret is who their celebrity guest is.
Yeah,
It's so funny because,
I know. Who
Yeah,
the
I
Well,
was
celebrity
Collectible
guest is.
Bulk guy
I know.
says that he's having a celebrity guest too.
I
you know
know
who
who
that
it
is?
is.
I know who that is, he told me.
Do you? Who is it?
It's the actor who played the new Pinhead in the new Hellraiser movie.
Okay.
Doug
Paul
Jones.
Taylor.
Paul Taylor.
Doug Jones
Okay.
plays Hellboy's namesake.
Paul Taylor.
Paul Taylor.
Paul Taylor.
He told me, he's like, I got a celebrity guest this year. I'm like, who? Paul Taylor. And I mean, say, I have no idea
Well,
who
if
that
you-
is. He's like, it's the guy who plays Pinhead in the new movie. And I'm like, okay. But that didn't even get released yet, has it?
I think it got.
Or did it go straight to
Yeah,
video?
it's probably straight to video.
I don't. It was supposed to have a release, and then I don't know if it did or what. I don't know. But if you read his Facebook post, it's
He says it's Pinhead.
blatantly
That
obvious
it's Pinhead.
that it's
Yeah, I know. He
Pinhead.
did a bunch of like little wordplay.
Yes,
It's cool. Hey, it's more celebrity guests than we had at our club.
That is true.
I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm
I'm
just
not either.
sending out information.
I'm just saying he has the guy who played Pinhead.
Mm-hmm.
So have you already reserved the space for next year, or
Maybe.
Maybe.
you got to keep that one up in the air?
No, we have to put a hold on the place, on the space, on the year we, on the date we want a
Man, we're going,
18 months ahead of time in order to get it, because you can't put a bid on any earlier than 18 months.
we're going deep. We're going deep behind the curtain now.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
Just telling everybody how to do it.
The earliest you can like hold a place, unless you've been doing a show there for like 10 years, then you can do like a hold like 5 years in advance or something. You can do like a long term type.
Yeah.
So in
7 years.
know, air cap 20, 30, we'll have a hold on it 5 years ahead of time.
You can. But I didn't even know. I mean, from a perspective of how could you get it, like, say, 3 months
But that
ahead of
doesn't-
time if they had this? Had they
Yeah,
opened
but
it?
that doesn't mean that I
space,
couldn't
yeah.
change that date or I couldn't change my mind.
I just wasn't
mean,
so
until-
sure if you were even, if depending
The
on how
hold
it goes.
takes nothing except me to say I want to hold on it. I'm
Okay.
just putting money down.
Yeah, I didn't know if you
It's
guys
just-
go ahead and you're trying to go ahead and hold for the
Okay.
next one, or if you're.
Yeah, we hold it just as a contingency, just
See,
in case we want
in
it. So
case
we
you
have a
want it.
date
Okay, cool.
and the same space held for next year.
Fantastic. That's cool.
But
And
you can't
2 weeks
change.
before Thanksgiving again, and or something
Yeah,
like
mhm.
that.
Yep. I think it's,
Cool.
I think it's November 10th and 11th this year. What?
We'll have to move back a week.
Closer
Something
to
we can talk
Thanksgiving?
to. No,
Earlier? Let's do
Yeah.
this right after Halloween.
didn't miss 3 day.
Yeah, I kind of like being on Veterans Day.
Okay.
I don't know. I do know that the parking was one of the things that people complained a little bit about on some of that perspective, especially
Yeah.
with that parade and stuff. I don't know. It's a double-edged sword there. I actually
Okay.
kind of like the date that you actually
I
picked
do
from the
too.
perspective of being fairly close to. It gets closer to that whole Black Friday type of thing, I think
Yeah,
people are even
People are
actually-
shopping.
That's right. People are already thinking
Have
about
that in there.
getting some of that little Christmas gift type of stuff.
Yeah.
At least from a vendor's perspective, I guess
Yeah.
I should say that.
No, I like it
Things
as
like
well.
that. So.
I love our date.
I know the guys from Hero Sandwich there next to me as
And
well
apparently-
mentioned something about that they liked your guys' con, I think, better than the fact of Kansas City Comic Con, but because of the price of tables, the price of
Yeah.
admission, things of that nature, they felt that they could do better here than they could up there. And they actually, I'd heard. Well, and who knows? They may have been just trying to back up the fact that why they of being here, too. But they did say that, at least from what they were hearing early on, that it wasn't doing quite as well as what they were.
I love our date, and apparently other cons love our date too.
It does sound that way.
It's
It's
true.
actually right, yeah.
Yeah,
It's true. It's so popular.
we
Everybody's
were
doing
only
it.
there for like 4 years solo.
Yes. And now everybody wants to date. At least ICT moved to March, so they're way far away from us now. Girls.
They weren't that close
No,
anyway.
it wasn't. It was August.
Now it's all gonna get early heavy.
Yeah, which I think is better. It seemed like it was like
Planet,
summer and yeah.
then you're gonna have Planet, then you're gonna have ICT, then you're gonna have WitchCon, then you're gonna have Smallville.
You're going to have a whole lot of them.
Boom, 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 boom.
Boom, boom, boom. Salina Comic Con too.
Oh yeah, Salina, wherever they fall. Anime Fest.
Well, the good thing is you avoided the Wizard Con there in Oklahoma City that date. Because I know there was actually quite a few people, I think, from Wichita that went down there.
Yeah, there were a few
So
artists that went down there. I
Was
remember
that the week before or 2 weeks before?
It was 2 weeks before you guys.
Okay.
We won't have to worry about it next year.
You don't think they'll have one?
Wizard will
not
be
that
bankrupt by then.
No, they don't.
They just had an article. They said the board came out and said we don't think we'll be around by end of 2018
Wow.
because they're bleeding cash. And
All they need to do is get like 10 more wrestlers and pack them in that place.
apparently, it's
and
not working
Money
anymore.
will just
Fall
flow.
from
Or just keep bringing in those Buffy and Firefly characters. Isn't that what they need to do? That seems like
They
all-
do have a lot of Buffy. I don't know about Firefly. They have a lot of Firefly.
They had quite a few. They had, I think, Summer and
Not
some
at the
point in time-
Oklahoma City.
Not at the Oklahoma, but I think they
Okay.
had Jewel, whatever
Are you,
her
are you
name
saying
is.
Val
inside Oklahoma
Kilmer
City.
and did not save Wizard World?
He was even like one day he wasn't even like doing photo ops or something.
Really?
Yeah, he like had some weird thing going on.
And
Alright.
that lady from Underworld.
Kate Beckinsale. Now she's probably actually a pretty good draw.
I would
People
assume
like
so.
Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah. I like Kate Beckinsale.
Who doesn't like Kate?
I loved her in
Underworld?
no, in Pearl
Serendipity?
Harbor.
Oh,
Pearl Harbor.
Wasn't
Pearl
that her?
Harbor.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
This is the most horrible movie ever.
Really? It wasn't that bad.
Oh, Batman vs.
When's the
Superman
last
was
time
worse.
you watched it?
I don't watch it again. I just watch it the one time to get
Okay.
into the hype, and I don't watch it again.
doesn't
And then it-
hold up.
and
Yeah, I
then my
would imagine
memory,
not.
then my
If you
memory is that
revisit
it's
it-
not that bad. Don't revisit it.
If you revisit it, it does not hold up whatsoever.
At this point in my life, I've learned what movies
it's
I should
not.
revisit and which ones I shouldn't.
It's not Kate Beckinsale's fault that movie.
It's
is
not?
good to
It's
be
Ben
made.
Affleck's.
No.
I'm kidding.
Totally Ben Affleck's fault. But that movie is horrible.
Well, one, it's just horribly long.
Yeah, but it's Michael Bay. Everything's in slow-mo.
Yeah.
That's true.
Man, they should have done that movie. In
We have gotten to
That stuff
nothing.
is long.
Okay,
That's
all right.
right, okay, you
Time
better-
to actually do. I want to actually sleep tonight.
Thank
Okay.
you for everybody who came to the con.
Yes.
Nobody listens.
Thank
I
you
know.
to everybody that came
I
to
love
my
how when you
booth.
did the thank you on our Facebook page, it was you thanking everybody, not like the con thanking everybody. That's a nice touch.
I did it under Air Capital.
I know.
It's from my heart, dude.
I
I
hear
know
you.
that you walk hand in hand with me. Like
Thanks, man. I
I
appreciate
speak. I don't want to speak for you. Would you want me to speak for you?
it. No. But that's what I did last year when I wrote the thank you. I said Air Capital Comathon. Thanks, all these people.
Comathon.
Comathon, yes.
We should
There you
rename
go.
it Air Capital
Comathon.
There you
We
go.
won't get sued by San Diego.
I'm not trying to cut you out of anything.
Hey,
it was just straight from the heart.
Another real cool thing.
I get all gooey.
So
and-
here's a cool little anecdote story that we just learned about. So
Why don't you just cut me off in the middle
I
of my
will. I'm
thought?
tired of listening to you. So local writer Chip
brothers.
Reese, there was
No,
a
I know
news
about
crew.
this.
There was what's that?
I don't understand that last message he sent.
Okay. Anyway, so there was a local news crew that came. They wanted to interview. They wanted some kind of cool like Comic Con
Cool
human
idea.
interest story.
Yeah.
And we said the only thing we could think of was Chip Reese, because he wrote that comic about a
Metaphase.
superhero
Yes.
with
Metaphase.
Down syndrome
Yeah.
because his son has Down syndrome. And we thought that'd be a cool human interest story. Well, Ollie, his son, was actually there with him, and he was kind of single dadding it a little bit because his wife was at home studying or whatever because she's going to school or whatever. So he had Ollie with him at the con at his table, and the lady came over and she said, "Can I do like a story on you?" He's like, "Well, it's probably gonna be hard because he's kind of overstimulated right now with all the con going on because it was like end of the day Sunday and the kid had
Yeah.
been there 2 days." And so he's like,
overstimulated.
yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, me too.
And so he said, yeah, I don't know if it would go that well, so I'd rather not do it. And we're like, okay. And then we go back and tell her, yeah, he doesn't really want to do it. And she's like, really? And she's like, real kind of like, really wants to do it, really pushy. She's like, I really want to do the story because I never get to do fun stories, and I think they might actually air it, blah, blah, blah. And so I go back over. I say, I'll take you over there. You can talk to him and try and convince him. And so she went over there, and she kind of sweet talked to him, and he agreed to do it, and he did the thing. And it was on, like, KWCH News that night.
I think it was, I seen a link or whatever.
And then today, there's an article on CBSNews.com about Chip and his son, because they saw the little story, and then the national CBS News picked it up. And they put an article on it. So Chip is now on the national CBSNews.com.
Sweet.
And he mentioned Air Capital Comic Con in the article.
Cool.
Okay, so it was an article. I didn't know if they picked up the actual interview and aired that.
No, because I read both and they were slightly different. I mean, it was obviously the same kind of thing, but it was like a different story.
Well, I had seen that it got picked up, by at least the local.
Yeah, but no,
I couldn't remember which one, but I did see the local one. So, and I thought it was cool.
Chip was messaging us. He's like, he's like, I got picked up on the national news. He's like, and it's funny that I didn't even want to do it, and then I did it, and it kind of
just kept going.
Took off, so that's cool.
Yeah. Good times there.
Yeah.
Very awesome for Chip and for Down Syndrome Society of Wichita.
Yeah, and for Air Capital Comic Con. I'm all about me. No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
Yeah, that's cool.
But
now,
maybe they'll sell some books.
You don't have to say too much, but the charity for the auction was
Down Syndrome Society.
Okay, fantastic, good.
That's always our charity that we've done since.
Well, I knew you had done that last year. And
probably
stuff.
since our second year, I think, is when we did it.
Okay.
We've done it since then.
Yeah, I think ever since.
I don't think we did a charity the first year.
No, I don't think we did. We tried to come up with something. No, I don't even think we did anything the first year.
No. But the second year we had like raffle tickets, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, we've always given the money to them.
So yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Scott should totally talk about something he read because he read a lot.
It's just
he even did a flashback.
I know, but I wasn't here last time because of the fact that I was, doing other stuff. So
good, he can save me the trouble of rereading it.
And I still have my man card, even if I went to see Rent. I listened to your guys' podcast.
I was only kidding.
I know.
I didn't understand. I thought Rent would be cool to see.
Oh,
I'm not a big.
But then again. But I'm a bit of a, well, yeah.
I'm not either, but
and I'm a
theater
brat type of thing because my mom's always been real big into that.
Gotcha.
So
I
don't really mind the stuff, especially if it's one like that. It's kind of a lot of what would you say, more modern type music, things of that nature. So
I sometimes say things I shouldn't.
No.
Really
sometimes
don't really mean.
I just want to give you crap, so it is what it is. Okay, so what do you want me to do first?
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever I want.
Do K3, because since I didn't really care for it, Don just hated the ending, and you said you thought it was pretty decent. So
yeah, sure. Batman, Dark Knight, Master Race. So this is essentially kind of, what would you say, the Dark Knight Returns Part 3, I guess. Frank Miller.
DK3, dude.
That's right. And Frank Miller and a whole bunch of other people.
And after this one, there can be a 4.
There definitely could be. Okay, maybe because of the fact that what you guys had said, and stuff, and I'll get into, I guess, my flashback type thing later. I went back and actually read DK2, and I realized why I hadn't read that one in like 10 years or whatever the hell else, because it is not very good, So then between you guys not...
hold on, I got a question. Did you read DK2 before you read DK2?
I did. So not only that...
That's why he
that's
loved
right.
DK3.
So I don't know about loved, but I actually enjoyed DK3.
I enjoyed DK3.
I'm reading DK2 to try to set myself... Because somewhat, I did open this up and I realized right away, or very early on, you've got... Superman and Wonder Woman's daughter in it. And I was like, oh man, I think I remember her from DK2 slightly. And it's almost starting off in a way after DK2. Pretty close right after.
Yeah, not too far.
And so immediately reading that a little bit, I'm thinking, oh man, just in a couple pages, I was thinking, I don't remember DK2. I need to go back and reread that real quick. So I pull out my old ones, I reread DK2. I realize, oh man, this is there's some things that are okay in it, but overall, it's not all that good. So then I go and I read DK3, and I start going through it then after reading Dark Knight 2, and I'm like, actually, this is not a bad story. Yeah, I will agree with you. Some of the art is a little bit hit or miss of the Frank Miller parts, that you're talking about.
But he's not that far.
But he's
off what
not
he was
all
doing
that
in
great
DK2.
in DK2.
He's
either.
doing similar style.
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
It's not actually DK3. It's Dark Knight.
It is. That's right. It's not DK3.
Master
it's the
Race.
Master Race.
That one says
but
DK2.
this one does actually say DK2. So I suppose I could talk about a little bit of both of them since I am. But DK2 here was kind of trying to capitalize. It almost seems like a money grab in a lot of ways, trying to capitalize on what happened with his Dark Knight. Freaking what, 15 years prior or something. I don't even know.
Well, I think DC said they paid him like $1 million. They
Wouldn't
said, "Hey,
surprise-
come.
and, yeah.
Here's $1 million. Come do a sequel to
sorry
Dark
there.
Knight 2."
But
Wow.
but yeah, so Dark Knight 2 basically is an old Batman here again, type thing, and he's trying to fight Brainiac and Lex Luthor, and there's other types of things that happen throughout, and he's building up with some of the rest of the Justice League. I think the Atom I think is in there, and there's some little things with either I can't remember if it's what is it, the Hawk or whatever the heck.
Hawkman.
Hawkman, yeah, there you go, or whatever. I'm thinking that they may have actually died as like their kids or something, if I remember right. Like I said, it's kind of forgettable in a lot of ways, but it does introduce Wonder Woman and Superman's daughter,
Yes,
Laura.
I totally forgot about it.
And overall, by the end of it, they defeat, the bad guys, and Batman, of course, much like the first one, is beat the crap out of, again, and things, and it's him and his new female Robin, and this one also has this other story going in there in which the female Robin's fighting somebody who's kind of acting like the Joker, but they're all thinking, hey, the Joker was killed, and stuff, and
Broke
in the
his
first
neck.
one. That's right. So then you find out at the not to spoil too much, but in case you don't remember, I'm going to spoiler alert or whatever the hell else. If you haven't read this thing, it's been out there for 10 years.
DK2?
20 years.
We're doing spoiler alerts
Yeah,
for DK2.
exactly. DK2, there was the Joker-like person turns out to be one of the Robins of the past. I don't know, Dick Grayson or who the hell, Tim, whatever. So I can't remember which
I'm glad
one.
you spoiled it because I didn't even remember.
Yeah,
remember
so-
that.
Yeah, so and he gets killed or something. So, but
That's
anyway,
that's like saying, hey, spoiler alert on Empire.
I know exactly right.
On Empire Strikes Back, Darth
Darth
Vader.
Vader is
Luke's
Luke's
father.
father. So anyway,
But that's one that people actually remember.
but overall, DK2 is just not all that good. So it set the bar pretty low for this one
Master
here
Race.
being Master Race. And Master Race, in this one, though, they kind of, basically in Dark Knight 2, one of the major storylines throughout was how the heck that Lex Luthor and Brainiac had freaking Superman under their power or whatever the hell else type of thing. Why Superman wasn't just coming in and beating the crap out of him. Well, it turned out that they had raided his Fortress of Solitude or whatever the heck else, and had stolen the lost city of Kandor or whatever the hell it is, the damn people in the jar.
Yeah.
For the last Krypton.
Wow.
That's right. Yes. So they had that, and that's all the last Kryptonians and all that other crap. So because of that, that's how they had that, and so the whole storyline is trying to get that back, and everything else. By the end, spoiler alert there. Hey, wow, they succeed, and Batman gets his jar of people back to Superman, and all is good in the world.
That happens in DK2?
Yes, that happens in DK2.
I forgot
Okay.
that.
Chip, Nick, and Bill are watching.
Whoa, wow.
Hello, Chip.
Hey, guys.
Hello, Nick. Hello, Bill.
But anyway, so that's what happens in DK2. Okay, so that really sets up a lot for Master Race
It
because
does.
the Master Race now, in
Candor.
turn, that's right. The big thing in that one is the fact that
Wow, I was going to go back and read them all together.
I know.
Wonder
They tie
Woman,
into
Wonder
each other.
Woman, and Laura, whatever the heck you want to call her.
I don't think number one ties into anything.
I don't believe so either. But Laura, Superman and Wonder Woman's daughter, she is very big at the very beginning of the Master Race. She has the jar there, and it's been talking to her a little bit, saying, free yes, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's right, let us out, type thing. And so the Atom, I believe, goes, we can figure out something here, and ends up, helping out. And that's when all sorts of chaos ensues. Because it turns out that some of the Kryptonians in that damn jar are not as...
Nice.
not as good as what was thought of. And so now you have, what the hell is it that they release? I don't know, 100 or 1,000 or something like this.
100,000.
Was that what it was? I don't know. There was a large amount of them, but now you have all these damn Supermans going around, and they want to take over the world, and they want to be felt as gods, so they want everybody to bow down to them. And that's really where this starts off at, is basically Superman now trying to figure out, Laura is basically with these master race of Kryptonians or whatever.
We'll blot out the sky with Kryptonians.
That's right.
Then we'll fight in the dark.
There you go. But anyway,
Frank Miller reference.
So that's where all that type of yes, the 300. But anyway, that's how the storyline is, and there's some other little references to other members of the Justice League, being like the Flash, I think, is in there. Yeah. I know actually the story with Green Lantern's actually kind of amusing there. He's not in it too big, but there's a couple little pieces there with him.
And the Kryptonian Rain.
Yes.
Or the Kryptonite Rain.
Kryptonite Rain.
Yes.
Yeah, it just shows how smart Batman is again, and things with different stuff. And it does pretty well. And then there is the part that you mentioned about, it seems like in every one of them, Batman's almost dead. The guy's like, 50, 60, whatever the hell it is throughout these things. And his body can only take so much. And in this one, of course, there again, crap ensues again, where he's on his deathbed about ready to go. And something happens to bring him back. Yeah, exactly right. And
we can spoil the crap out of it. I just didn't want to spoil it for you two.
Yeah, that's right. So you guys have read it, but anyway, I mean, essentially,
I think we spoiled it last time.
I think you did there a little bit, and it's not that big of a deal.
It's a cop out.
I didn't have much of a problem with it at all, to tell you the truth. It's a comic book. Come on, nobody ever really dies in a lot of those type things.
But I always thought the Dark Knight, the original one, was supposed to be kind of like the last Batman story.
It really was.
And now it's going to turn into All-Star Batman.
Now it's just ongoing Batman.
There's
nothing special about it.
Batman now.
Yes.
But to be honest, there was really nothing special about DK2 or Batman Dark Knight the Master Race. They were just another Batman story.
They really are. You're exactly right. They are just another Batman story, things of that nature.
It wasn't groundbreaking.
You're exactly right. There is nothing very... I was going to go that same place. There's nothing groundbreaking, but for a story that kept me somewhat fairly engaged, just an enjoyable romp type thing. I thought it was a fairly decent story, just kind of pulling all these people in, having, Batman be Batman, doing smart things again, and stuff. The Robin, I think each time around, his female Robin type thing gets a little bit better. I thought that character was somewhat enjoyable in here. Maybe you didn't as well. Laura, I thought was a real pain in the ass, type things. But
she was a pain.
Teenagers will be teenager or whatever the heck else. Type things like that, but
no, I just felt
maybe I need to go back and
read and like I said, after reading Dark Knight 2, this thing is a whole lot better, and that could have been what tainted me a bit, because I really did not care much for Dark Knight 2.
But this thing is thick. Like, it was like 9 issues plus the little mini comic thing. There's not much story there. It's like the Kandorians break out, they try to take over the world, they stop them. There's not a lot of like twists and turns in this story. It's fairly linear.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just what? There's just nothing to it.
It's your normal comic book then.
No, my normal comic book has twists and turns and interesting things happen, and there's some.
10%.
That guy. What's that?
10% of anything that comes out is twists and turns.
I don't know. I mean, now I was going to say I don't know that you
I'm
can
just not
discount
saying
it
it's
to
twists and turns.
I thought there was
it's very linear.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I thought there was some twists or turns too there a little bit on how the Justice League was kind of taken out there a little bit by these Kryptonians and things of this nature. Yes. And there again, though, it does have to be Batman to save the day. But quite frankly, that theme kind of runs in all the Dark Knight stories, really. Yeah. They have to blow up everybody else so that the Dark Knight can show off his wits and brains and everything else and strategic thinking to get them out of their messes that they get in, too, in a lot of ways. And here again, this follows the same type of pattern with a lot of that. And they can only go so far. I mean, because in Dark Knight, being in the same universe, he killed off a whole hell of a lot of his old freaking, enemies and things of this nature. So now it's almost seeming like he has to fight, Batman's enemies. I mean, Superman's enemies. In ways.
That's true.
So,
What almost felt like, the first Dark Knight was a Batman story. The second one almost felt like a Justice League story. And this one almost felt like a Superman story.
I would agree.
I mean, so it's like Batman, Justice League, Superman. And so they're all under the Batman, but I really think the first one's the only one that really feels like a Batman story.
I would agree with that.
Batman was almost a supporting character third book.
This third one, in a lot of ways, you're right.
He didn't really do much. He was too old to fight most of the book to do much.
It just happened to be he was bringing the brains again, and saying,
Yeah.
okay, here's how we can defeat all these Kryptonians. But you're right, in a lot of ways he was.
I liked it. I'm not saying it was great.
The only thing I liked about it, I like Andy. Is it Andy Kubert? I like his art. I thought he did a pretty good job with it.
I would agree.
And then, but even the choice to like do the little mini comics, if you're gonna do mini comics that are like, because when this came out in single issues, every issue came with like a little mini comic inside it. That was the little Frank Miller.
That's right, the little Frank Miller parts, which was just adding a little bit, to it, or kind of setting up the next
But it really didn't feel like it even set much up. It felt like it was just a continuation of the same story. Like it didn't feel like it was even much of a chapter break, to be honest.
I would agree with that somewhat too. Yeah, because I sometimes almost lost track.
I thought it would be like a side or something, but it really wasn't. It was just a continuation.
I know.
What an odd way
almost
to do.
Needed, in a lot of ways too.
What an odd way to do a narrative, to have like the story and then you have like a little mini comic that
I think
continues
I found
the
the
story.
problem. The little mini comics, they're like full size.
Which blows up his.
The blown up full size does not
as
hold up
complimentary.
well. Yes.
No, I enjoyed it much better in the smaller.
Well, maybe that is a problem.
Anyway.
So, anywho, that's my issue. I was not impressed.
So for next podcast, I'm reading 1, 2, and 3.
Ooh,
Sweet.
there you go.
I would like to see that done. I don't think you'll do it.
Is that a challenge?
That's a challenge.
Alright.
Well, I could have read one, but I mean,
I want to borrow this then because I
Red
don't want
is-
to dig out my
That's
one is
fine,
just so
you can
good
buy it.
anyway that it's all good. So, but yeah, Dark Knight 2 is just it's kind of crap.
I read. Did you read Hellboy in Hell?
I read it, but no, I did not read that version.
Hellboy in Hell Library Edition.
I had to take the one that I took to AirCap out of the original package.
Wow,
It was
because you
still-
had never read it.
I read it. I just didn't read that book. Like I've read
That's
the
what I
stories.
mean. I know.
No, I haven't.
You
read
never read your book.
It. Nope.
Okay, thank you. Not that hard.
I think I only read like maybe the first 2 or 3 of the library editions.
So the last Hellboy story,
Hellboy in Hell.
before Hellboy in Hell, the last one, the previous one,
Right.
Hellboy dies, and so this one he goes to hell and he's in hell. It's a pretty cool story. I mean, he's just kind of like wandering hell, like running into people, having like little stories. I mean, obviously some other things happen. Earlier in the book, spoiler alert, he kills the main demon Satan guy or whatever. I don't think it's actually Satan though, is it?
Malbolgia.
No, it's not Malbolgia either. Anyway, the
That's
main,
Spawn.
yeah, it's Spawn. There's like a main demon and he kills him. And then
Mephistopheles.
and once he kills him, it's like all kind of hell breaks loose. Get it? Hell breaks. Sorry.
I do get it.
All right. Anyway, so it's pretty good. I liked it. It was enjoyable. It is very, very final. This is the last Hellboy story.
Yeah, but he's gonna go back and do flashbacks.
Well, he goes back and does like Hellboy went on a mission in the 40s or Hellboy went on a mission in the 50s. So you can still do Hellboy stories, but the progression of the character is pretty much over.
Yeah.
Have you read all the BPRD stuff?
No.
Because supposedly in that one, like something happens in the world, like ends in that book too, or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
But
I read the
haven't read it all.
4 volumes of the BPRD, the Frog Wars or whatever. There's like 4 really like 400-page books of that.
Yeah. The problem with Hellboy story kind of being over is that Dark Horse, like 50% of Dark Horse's publishing strategy is Hellboy universe stuff. Have you noticed that? Like if you look in previews, like it's like 10 pages of Mike Mignola Hellboy verse, Mignola verse, and then that's half.
What, 25 is Goon?
What is it?
25% is
The rest
Goon.
is Goon.
Goon. No, they don't even do much Goon much anymore, really.
Yeah, but
They're not pushing as much.
it depends on what month you open up previews. They
That's
push
true.
something.
Didn't
They'll
they used
push
to have,
20
like-
volumes of Goon.
Didn't they used to have like
push
the
all
Terminator license or something at one time?
And they may still have that.
I don't know that they have that.
They have some licenses. So I think they have more like video game type licenses.
Is
Like I
that
think
what
they
it
had
is?
like Halo and they had like Tomb Raider maybe, stuff like that.
I have a quick comic book story.
Alright.
Comic-Con story.
Quick Comic-Con story
About Hellboy.
about
So I took
Hellboy.
I think it's the library, 5 or 6, the one that
Okay.
has the Kevin Nolan
Kevin
story
Nolan
in it.
story. I'm with you.
So I brought that to have Kevin Nolan sign, and so I was talking to him, and I was like, yeah, I go, apparently I'm an idiot because I didn't realize that you designed the Hellboy logo.
Yeah.
And Kevin Nolan goes, I am credited with creating the Hellboy logo. He goes, so you're not really as much of an idiot as you think because I didn't really create the Hellboy logo. He goes, I talked to Mike Mignola and he said, hey, do you want to work on this logo for me? And I did, so I gave it to him. And then Mike goes, why don't we tweak this? Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? So he sent him back a completely different logo that Mignola created, and then he
drew it.
He inked it or whatever. So he's like, so I don't feel like I get the credit, or I don't deserve the credit that I've gotten that I created the Hellboy logo. But every library edition or every book you open, it says Hellboy logo created by Kevin Nolan. So anyway, it was just a funny little story.
It does say Hellboy logo designed by Kevin Nolan.
Yep.
Cool. But is this even the Hellboy logo here?
No, that's not.
Yeah, so he's not even using it on the library editions.
I think he did on like the first couple, maybe.
Could be.
But I don't remember.
I don't remember either. So Hellboy in Hell, pretty cool. Interesting into the character. Not quite the fire and fury type ending you would expect. A very kind of solemn.
He had it planned from the very beginning.
That's what he said. What can you do? Alright.
Not much.
Nope. So it's your turn, dude.
Alright, I'll do Mr. Right.
Why are you gonna do all the stuff I haven't read? Why don't you read the stuff that you've had for like months instead of the stuff you just got?
Do you know where I've been for the past 2 days? Didn't really have a lot of access to stuff.
Alright. Fine.
I left some stuff there.
Did you read, what, 3 things?
Yeah.
In
Well, I
the
read
single
one other
issues?
thing that I can talk about, but I don't have it with me. Alright, so I picked this up at
Can you
Air
really do
Capital. Huh?
I didn't think you could read anything unless it was sitting in front of you where you could like read it.
I actually sort of remember. I'm going to mention it in passing.
Okay.
I picked this up at Air Capital Air
Mr.
Capital.
Right, the documentary.
Mr. Right by
Kim
Kim
Cottrell.
Cottrell, documentary. So yeah, it's Mr. Right. So Mr. Right and his brother, the guy that used to be Mr. Right, I
Yeah,
don't know their
his
names.
brother.
They go to a toy store.
Should we explain what Mr. Right, you should give like a story of what it is?
Sure, go
Does
ahead.
Scott know?
I don't know.
Go.
Alright, so Mr. Right is the story of this superhero, Mr. Right. And he has this belt which like turns him into like Mr. Right and gives him powers, right?
He's like Superman, kind of. I mean,
Kind
he has
of.
powers.
Not really Superman.
No, not
But-
really, but
No. He has a belt that gives him powers. Unlike Superman,
He's a
who
cape.
gets powers from the sun. But sure, just like
and he
Superman.
wears tights.
Hey, Superman.
Anyway,
all these
he's a
super people
superhero.
get powerful.
Anyway, he has a really screw up brother, like a brother who kind of can't keep a job and is always like, kind of messing up his life or whatever. Well, one day his brother comes over to his apartment, sees the belt, puts it on, and then he becomes Mr. Right. And it turns out that he can't get the belt off, it's stuck. So he's basically stuck as Mr. Right. His brother, who's the actual superhero, is not Mr. Right anymore. And so his brother is stuck as Mr. Right. So this brother who's a screw up is going around trying to act like Mr. Right and basically screws everything up. That's the simple premise of the story. Yeah, go ahead with your
Okay. So the two brothers go to this comic book, or not a comic, a toy store, and he realizes that he had sold off all the rights to the toys for
Mr. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he's mad because now he can't even buy the toys anyway. One thing leads to another. They meet this guy, and it's actually, his name is Ben, which I believe is
Kim Cottrell's
Kim Cottrell's son-in-law.
or son-in-law.
Anyway, so he wants to make a documentary about Mr. Right, and so the one that's actually Mr. Right, the screw up brother, is all for it. The real Mr. Right is like completely against it. So the whole book so most of the book is them watching the documentary that they had made before, and they bring in like what's the name of the group, the superhero group?
I don't remember.
Anyway, they're all there, and of course, so it just has all the characters. They bring in the villains, and they're talking to the villains. It's one part, I can't remember which one he is, but he's the guy that has, like, the ray gun, and Mr. Right had taken the ray gun away from him, and the guy's like, so the guy's interviewing him, and he's like, so I'm not the supervillain anymore because Mr. Right took my gun away. And he's like, well, you built the first one, can't you just go build another one? And he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I'll see you later. Like he recreated the super villain because he didn't realize that he could just go build another one. But anyway, I mean, it's quirky. The humor is awesome. It's just a funny book. It's really a good book. This is number 10. I think he's got like a couple specials. Mm-hmm. But this one is just kind of like it's almost like when they used to do like those 80s sitcoms and they'd have like the flashback. Well, I guess they do it in all sitcoms, but they have like the flashback episode, like all TV shows where they just do a flashback.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that where they just reintroduce everybody and
recap.
Yeah, kind of like, kind of, sort of, but anyway, I love that book. I will buy it until...
You love it.
I love it.
You should marry it.
I would.
Maybe next episode we could have like a marriage between you and Mr. Wright.
After I review Dark Knight 2, and Dark Knight The Master Race.
I think it's Scott's turn here.
Okay.
Is it? Let's see here. I read Black Science.
You got a lot of stuff read.
I did. But I was gone for a month. That's right.
A month. That's right.
So yes. So
and he didn't have a condo plan. Or
hold on there. Don't go there. I mean, well, granted, I don't want to minimize that type of stuff.
I'm just kidding.
So I have to get ready for it as well, but not near as much as what you guys have to do, I'm sure. So anyway, Black Science, Rick Remender. I don't even know.
Matteo Scalera.
Okay.
Matteo Scalera.
There you go.
Master.
He's pretty awesome.
He is pretty awesome. I was actually looking at that book. I didn't want to. I have the issues, so I didn't buy that version. But it's oversized.
It is oversized.
Is that 12? How many issues is
15.
it?
I was going to say I thought it was 16, but yeah, you're probably right.
I'm not,
15
might be
16.
I think I'm going to pull the trigger on that because that's a nice presentation. I'm going to have to buy this hardcover.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Well, okay. So, did you have a earlier trade of this?
Yeah. So you probably read some of it.
I think I read because I'm going through. I think I had read some of that, but I know the last half I did not. Was new to me. I guess was type thing. I don't know what I think of this, to tell you the truth.
That's cool.
It is interesting.
It's interesting how the main character is a total jerk off.
That one's true, and maybe that's where part of the problem is
you don't really have anybody to root for.
I like. Let me put it this way. I like the fact that it starts off and you jumped right all in and you're kind of catching up as kind of some of this is. I mean, it's entropy, type thing, chaos, whatever the heck else. Yeah. And the book kind of starts that way a little bit, and you kind of pick up pieces as it's going along. Yeah. I kind of like that idea myself because you're kind of picking this up, kind of getting some of that characterization as you go on. But on the flip side, you're right. It is very hard to root for anybody or even, care much for any of these individuals because they all seem to have a hell of a lot of
major
character and whatever else. And and the fact that, well, I guess the basic idea is here that they build this type of machine that allows them to go to, in my opinion, I guess like alternate universes, alternate Earths, I guess in a way.
It's like an onion.
That's right. Peeling the onion, as they say quite a bit, and trying to get to the center here.
The layers.
So that's right. Peeling these layers, because the idea is that
onions have layers.
Well, their overall idea from a scientific standpoint is the fact that they can go to these other alternate universes and maybe there's cures for cancer or there's some type of other material made, some technology type of stuff that they could try to use and take back with them. But of course, it seems like anything else, like when you time travel or whatever the hell else, like watch out what the hell you get into because every time they get there, it's like, oh my God, there's something else. There's a freaking plague at this place, or there's freaking man-eating creatures at this other place, and some other type things that in which it seems like now that they broke through this onion that it's been done before and again by some of these same individuals, type stuff in these other alternate universes, and that all these people want this technology, in different ways, are worshiping the technology. And so as you see that type of stuff going through, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, it gets almost a little confusing on all the different threads that are going through there. The art itself, I like. The only problem I have is sometimes with the action type stuff, it seems a little disjointed, I think sometimes. I have a hard time following maybe sometimes where the hell that they're going and where they're at. Mm-hmm. Although the actual stills of stuff in the individual characters are very well done, and stuff. There's, in my opinion, there's very little of not telling one person from another. Who
Yeah.
these characters are and stuff. I do find it, it's supposed to be. I almost get the feel it's kind of the Gilligan's Island type of thing. Hey, you're lost. They're trying to make their way back. Their machine is broken, so that they can't get back to their own individual universe. So they're just jumping around to all these type of things. But unlike Gilligan's Island, these people just seem to be getting picked off one by one every freaking time something's coming around. So it's kind of interesting in there. But because of the fact that there's other versions of them that have been, going throughout there, just because a character dies doesn't mean you're not going to necessarily see them again, because of the fact that they seem to be time hopping all over the damn place. Or I guess I shouldn't say time hopping, but universe hopping all over the place.
Is there a coconut radio in this?
No. Well, there could be, though. I don't know. They probably use coconuts to try to repair their damn machine. But there's all sorts of little backstabbing and things of that nature that are going on, and you don't totally understand maybe why, or they throw these little tidbits in there, which I kind of like. It's not just beating you over the head right away. Yeah. You kind of got to try to catch some of these little things that's going on, and you can kind of help infer a little bit, oh, I think this is, and whatever else. But it's definitely bloody. I mean, it's got its parts. I would almost say that nobody's safe, in a lot of ways in there, with respect to it. Safe. So, and I think it only ends up going though, to 40 issues, I think, or something. I think that I've heard that they're about to end, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. There's another hardcover coming out, so hopefully if they only go to 40, it's going to be an odd.
Yeah, that would be a little odd there.
The third hardcover would have like 8 issues.
Yeah, something like this. So
I don't know.
But yeah, I don't think I realized that either when I picked this up. I was like, I didn't know how far I was going to go, or if it was self-contained or whatever the heck else. So when you get to the end, you're like, it didn't exactly end. It's kind of crap spinning around.
And as a side note, the last book that I looked at, the blown up art, was not great. I like it blown up in this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That's true. That is very nice.
So blown up Mateo
like I said,
Galera
the art individually, I mean those individual panels and stuff, I think are very good. Like I said, I just sometimes had a hard time following some intense action scenes on where the hell they were going, or who the hell exactly was chasing them, or whatever the heck else. Or maybe it wasn't so much that. It was trying to get a feel of more the geography of where they were at. How far maybe they were from. Because a lot of this takes place in which, it's that type of thing in which the machine that jumps them from world to world is on a timing type of scenario in which they can't control either. So it's going to jump them from another universe in so many hours. And of course that number changes all the damn time. So geography kind of makes a difference, because that damn machine is in one place. Usually they've all got to make sure that they're there in the general area when the damn thing goes off. Otherwise somebody's left behind. So you have that type of thing in which there's that concern, that nice great buildup, of what's the word I'm looking for, but overall suspense, and things like that, trying to get there. But yet it's without knowing exactly how far they are or whatever the heck else, type stuff, it makes it a little difficult to grasp, how much danger they're really in.
Right. And this is not a dig on that at all, because no idea is original anymore or whatever, but it reminded me a lot of Sliders, especially with that part where you're talking about. Because like Sliders, they would pop into wherever they popped into, and they'd have
very good point.
5 minutes, or they'd have 3 weeks, or they'd have a month, and they all had to
be ready
there
and ready at the right
place. But I mean, even when I first started reading that, it obviously reminded me of,
it is a very good point.
Sliders. But I mean, like I said, it's
like I say, it's not bad. I like a lot of the ideas I think that are in there. It's just without, I think, having that kind of hero to root for, and I'll probably even get into that with my next one, actually, even too, that I got left. But without that person that you can kind of empathize with, or whatever the heck else, it makes it very difficult, I think, for a total just hit it out of the park, type of enjoyment.
Yeah.
So.
True dat.
Isn't
that true?
I think.
I believe it is.
Look
at
read
that,
Street Angel, Superhero for a Day. This is the third of these Street Angel books that Mr. Jim Rugg, has put out. This one's pretty cool. So basically the story is that Jessie, the homeless skateboarding ninja, awesome fighter, super kung fu expert, is having a bad day. She's sleeping on the street. A rat stole her sandwich. She's really hungry. So she wakes up and she wants to get some food. Her stomach's growling. She runs into like 3 of her friends. And so she said, let's go find some food because I'm really, really hungry. And so they're walking around looking for food. Well, one of her friends finds this ring and she puts it on and it turns her into a superhero. And so she's like flying around, throwing trash cans around. They're like, wow, wow. And Jesse's like, yeah, that's great, but really, let's find some food. Well, then she runs into some, other jerk kind of Superman type superhero guy. And he's like, hey, how's it going? And she's like, that girl's 12, because he's kind of like hitting on the superhero girl. He's like, oh, yeah. And so, anyway, he's kind of a jerk, and he does not like Jesse, and Jesse does not like him. But anyway, so they're like getting all goo goo gaga over him, and then some aliens come down, and they're like, obviously the owners of the ring, because it's like a Green Lantern kind of thing. And Jesse's like, I need to find some food. And so she walks off and says, I need to find something to eat. And after she walks off, one of her friends pulls out like a candy bar, starts eating it. And they're like, did you have that the whole time? Jesse was really hungry. And she's like, oh, whatever. And so Jesse walks off, and then it's like the next day, and they come down, they're like, oh, the aliens took us to their homeworld, and there's this huge banquet. We're all like really stuffed. We had all this food, and Jesse's like,
I hate you.
oh yeah, exactly. It's kind of a downer story for once. Like Jesse doesn't necessarily, win the day in any way, shape, or form. It kind of makes you feel more bad for him, but it's kind of still kind of funny and entertaining. And anyway, so that's the basic story. But what's so cool about these books is Jim Rugg puts all these little like cool design touches. Like this one has like the old Marvel handbook type like
nice.
Stuff for each character, for different characters. And then my favorite part though is they have a book club discussion, which is like questions if you're like in a book club or for like kids or something. Who would win in a fight, Street Angel versus Batman? Or what is your favorite superhero costume? Have you ever cosplayed as a superhero? I mean, it's just a stupid little thing.
Who would you rather have the power of invisibility
or flight? Why? It's just great. And then they have like, then he lists like all the mini comics he's been doing over the last few years. So he like shows them all and all the different versions that he's had and stuff like that. And so I don't know. It's just, and then he has like a little bio for Jim Rugg and Brian Maruca. And it's funny because there's like a thing, like Jim Rugg is the artist and co-writer, and then Brian Maruca is the writer. But no one has ever seen Brian Maruca, right? Like Jim goes to all these conventions and stuff, but Brian Maruca doesn't go to any conventions. And there's like a joke. It's like Brian Maruca is just a made up like guy that Jim says helps him write the book, but doesn't really, right? And so, and Jim Rugg was on an interview once. He's like, well, why would I make up someone to help me write? I mean, if I could do it, why would I make that up? Type of thing, which seems like a pretty solid argument. So I'm reading the bios here, and it says like Jim Rugg, real name James Rugg, aliases Jim, Jimmy, Jimbo. Then it says Brian Maruca, real name Brian Maruca, aliases unknown, identity Jim's pseudonym. Right? So he's like feeding the theory or whatever a little bit. Jim's pseudonym. What? So it really makes you wonder, is there a Brian Maruca? I don't know. So anyway, I just thought that was a cute little touch.
Brian Maruca does not exist.
Like I said, these books, they're a little expensive for what they are. It's super oversized. It's $20, and it's only about 40 pages of like story, But it's got all these extra little things and stuff, and it's big and oversized. And I don't know, I get it for a discount because I ordered it online, blah, blah, blah. So I think it's well worth it, just the love and care and kind of design that goes into it. But, to each their own. But I'm enjoying these new Street Angel stories quite a bit.
Sweet. I read Cancor.
I didn't read that yet. Is that number 3?
Number 3. I'm amazed at this guy's art. Matt Allison, like he did this double spread. You can't see it on there, but oh my god, it's so good. I was looking at his.
Be sure to ruin your book to make sure.
Yeah, I was looking at. No, I don't want you to flatten it.
Fun.
I want to show this.
Well, so cool.
both of these pages, he had both of these pages of the original art.
Oh yeah.
In his portfolio.
You bought both of them?
Oh god, I wish. This one on the right is like so awesome. Like it's unbelievable in black and white. It looks great in color, but I probably stared at it for like 5 minutes just looking at that. But okay, so this review will go really quick because I have no idea what the hell that book's about or what's going on in it.
But the art is just so good.
But the art is just so awesome. I mean, I don't want to discount his writing abilities, but you don't even have to read it. You just flip through it and look at the pretty pictures because it's amazing. But I would recommend Cancor to anybody and everybody. But it's just kind of like it's very
surreal.
Yeah, and I know we had him at our convention last. Dude, okay, so like that.
Yeah, I think I saw him doing that on like Instagram where he was drawing
Oh my god!
It looked.
I stared at that page for like 5 minutes. It's all like little bodies. Like that's all it is. Just into a big giant conglomerate of stuff that looks like face. Like I wish I would have flipped through his entire portfolio because if he had that one to look at as original, like
You
My
probably would
son-
have bought it, huh? Right
well,
then
no,
and
I
there.
wouldn't have bought it because I can't afford his. Anyway, I can't afford his art. Not that, and it's completely and totally worth it. It's just out of my price range. So, but and he does little things in the back too. We like went back to like it was very weird, like back to '93.
Oh, yeah.
He did like a Wizard World interview from like 1993.
Like
and
a fake Wizard World.
Yeah, fake Wizard World interview, and then like
Comics
a
library.
comics library. Then he did a swipe file. So
Oh,
like one of
nice.
his pages is actually a swipe file from Secret Wars.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it was weird because like when I was reading it, there's one character in there. Okay, so like there's all these different Cancors.
Yeah.
Like his book is called Cancor, and so like there's all these characters are like Cancor, and there's like a girl Cancor, and there's like a Cancor with a K. And I mean, if you look at it, it's very X-Men-y,
Yeah.
X-Men-ish. So like this is obviously like your Wolverine, and
Yeah.
that's your is it Spiral or whatever,
Yeah.
like Magneto.
Cyclops kind of and that other guy.
Yeah, but yeah. So like I said, it's just I have no idea what's going on in this book. And when we had him last year, I bought number 1, I think, and I took it home and I read it like Saturday night, and I came back like Sunday and I talked to Matt, and I'm like, I read it. I'm like, I don't know if I'm just really tired, but I have no idea what's going on in this book. And he's like, that's kind of the point. That's like a compliment, I guess. He's like, I just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
It's supposed to be kind of crazy.
yeah, I don't know that you're supposed to get it, but I could look at it all day.
All day.
All
long.
day long I could look at this book.
Wow.
So,
Sounds like a good time.
very, very awesome.
Alright, Scott should do something again. Because I'm not going to do all this stuff.
Oh, that's good because I only got one thing left.
I got one thing.
And I got one
I got like 2 that I could talk about.
But
Let's see here. I read
Birthright?
Birthright
1 through 10.
All of
1
them.
through 10. So
Just gave him a chunk.
yeah, it just gave me a chunk there.
Did you see the twist coming?
Williamson? I don't know.
Yeah.
Joshua Williamson
Joshua
and
Williamson.
Andre Bresson.
Brisson. And then Lucas, is that like the inker or something?
Colors.
Colorist? Okay.
Brisson.
Yep. Did I see the end coming or the twist coming? Let's see. I
didn't.
don't know.
That surprised me.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, I don't. Yeah. How much do you give away on something like this? So the
Oh, you
overall
give away the
idea.
big twist.
It's been out.
It's been out there for so long time.
I
Okay, so the overall idea of this is that little boy, his dad, they're out there, playing catch or whatever else. The dad throws ball into the woods. The kid goes to run and get it, and they can't find him. They lose him in the woods. Okay, so then all sorts of crazy crap happens. With the family. Then basically the mom and father are getting divorced. The dad's basically getting blamed for possible murder of the little one. Things of this nature. And then lo and behold, somebody pops back up, looking like a Conan the Barbarian type or something like this. Speaking in kind of crazy gibberish of some type of things, about some other worlds and whatever the heck else. And seems to know a hell of a lot about their son, type things. And is actually claiming to be their son and wants to see his parents and things of this nature. And pretty much the father goes, yes, that is my son. Mother's like, what the hell? Are you crazy or whatever the heck else? Turns out that this boy had been picked up and taken to this alternate land, fantasy land type of thing. And the idea is that he was supposed to be the chosen one to help them clear the land of the awful, evil, I don't remember, Lord Evil Man
Lore.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Lore.
Lore?
L-O-R-E.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, So he's supposed to do that. So, and he says, in his story when he gets back, hey, I defeated them, and because of that, I get to come back here, and see my parents and everything. Well, that's where the twist comes in, because all this is happening like in the first damn issue. So, I mean, it moves at a really good pace. I definitely like that type of stuff, and things. And then, lo and behold, at the end, you find out, that the kid that came back has been overtaken by the lore, the bad guy, essentially, of that fantasy realm, and has been sent there to hopefully take over the Earth realm now, of things. So, from a twist perspective, I don't know. It didn't surprise me. Did I maybe necessarily see it coming? You knew something was up. For this much stuff happening in the first damn issue, you knew something was a little odd there. The fact that he was overtaken, maybe not so surprising. I think what's more surprising as you go through it is the fact that it seemed like something has happened, and like I say, I'm only into like the first 10 or whatever else, but something has happened in which he volunteered to essentially be taken over by the bad guy. Okay? Now, why is that? I don't know at this point. They keep dropping little hints. One of the good things about this whole thing is the fact that they do swap back and forth, aka almost like a Lost type of perspective, or whoever the heck, type thing. Name your show in which they do flashbacks and whatever the heck else. Essentially, as this thing's going through, the real time is the guy. I don't know what the hell his name is. Boy, it's been so long since I've read it. But anyway, your main hero, Conan type of guy or whatever, your barbarian type, he is in Earth, as things are flowing along there, and he's basically back in Earth to try to defeat what he's saying is some of the evil, people that are over in here that could help, spread evil throughout this realm. Well, in actuality, what they are is they're basically protecting the freaking Earth from the overtaking from the fantasy realm over into here.
Right.
So, that's going on. Meanwhile, as the story progresses, you're learning little bits and pieces of what happened, over the last, so many years to the little kid that disappeared in the woods, and what the hell he was doing over in the fantasy realm and things, and how he was being trained to take over to beat the big bad, and the people that he met, and the relationships that he was starting to forge over there. So, from a story perspective, I like the fact that it seems to be pretty unique, and things. I liked what they said, at the letters page, and stuff of this nature, of saying, the guy always thought of, okay, you get these motion pictures, whatever else, stories, of little kids going to this fantasy realm and whatever, succeeding and stuff, and then coming back, and that's basically where the things ended, type stuff. You never really knew how that story, that adventure or whatever else affected the rest of their lives, or whatever else. What happened after that? Did they get taken back again? Were they able to readjust? Whatever the heck else. And so he was kind of taking some of that idea as his original premise, and then just kind of built on it from there, with the whole idea probably of being overtaken and whatever the heck else. Obviously there's something going on here a lot in which the reasons behind what he's doing was probably a certain homesickness, whatever the heck else, type of thing. The fact that he was being trained from an early time to kill, when maybe that wasn't in his nature, whatever that you want to say in that. And so it's interesting, the characterization, I think, that's being built up throughout here. But on the flip side, it's like what we talked about in the Black Science, type of thing. It's very hard to root for supposedly our hero here, of this type, being this guy, this big barbarian, or whatever the heck else, when he's overtaken by what I'm assuming is the evil person that wants to take over the Earth realm, type stuff. And that this is going on. He seems to have anger issues, whatever the heck else you want to say. And so rooting for him is kind of difficult. So then you maybe go, well, you maybe want to root for his younger brother, but yet, you don't really seem to have quite as much of a feel for even maybe the younger brother, because of the fact that he seems like, actually this is his older brother, for one. He just looks younger, now with how things have progressed. It seems like this character of his younger brother, of his older brother, maybe is a teenager. So, he's still learning things, whatever else, has that certain arrogance of a teenager. So even there, it's almost sometimes hard to relate to that person. I don't know. And meanwhile, you've got that almost suspense or that certain dread or the overall feel of crap. You know, 10 issues in, this guy is still, you know, overtaken by the evil type thing, you know, and stuff, which is okay, but he's killing off the freaking people that are protecting the Earth realm, you know, so it's that type of thing in which you're like, God, how much longer is this going to keep on going on, you know, type of things. But, so, you know, it's that type of thing in which you're like, Jesus, this guy that I'm supposed to be rooting for is killing the people that are doing this, you know, so how am I supposed to root for that? It's that kind of type of churn, I guess. Does that make sense at all? What I'm saying? So it makes it kind of hard to enjoy it yet, because what you want to root for is not happening at all the way that you want. But on the flip side, it does keep you reading, you know, and it's trying to keeps you engaged, you know, I suppose, you know, with everything. And as they keep building up more of the characters, I think that's part of the thing too, is he's got so much setup going on right now of what the hell has this guy been doing for, you know, the time that he was been gone, you know, building up that relationship even then maybe with his younger brother. Meanwhile, there's so much other tales to tell, you know, like basically this is the Conan the Barbarian dude's girlfriend, you know, in the fantasy realm, you know, like in a way. Although there's a whole story there too, you know, which maybe he was supposed to be promised to a princess, and this was not a princess, this is more of a Valkyrie type, you know, so obviously there's something else going on there. So while the story in the Earth world or whatever is moving at a quick pace, you know, in which he's trying to do his mission, sometimes I almost feel like you want to know a little bit more about what the hell happened to him in the fantasy realm, where they just kind of give you these little bits and pockets, you know, type things. And maybe that's the thing. It's not progressing as fast as what the hell is happening in the Earth realm. So trying to build up that sympathy for the character and stuff is a little bit more difficult. Of course, this freaking cover is freaking amazing, I think.
Yeah, I really like the art in this.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that as well. So I don't know. Going around with that, I like it. You know, type stuff. I think it's a very interesting story, a very interesting idea, but it's one of those ones in which it's almost just so gut churning because you want to root for this guy, but yet you can't because of how things are going in there, that it makes it a little difficult to figure out what I'm supposed to be rooting for, or how things are going there. And you just, how long can you spend reading this thing where it's just still that whole gut churn, you know, type stuff? How long can you put up with that? It's almost not as bad as Walking Dead being an example, you know. I mean, how long can you keep up with that damn thing when it's just a downer all the damn time? You know, there's some of that here, you know. It's not as much of a downer because of how the action is, you know, and stuff, but you can almost get to that if it's all this constant, you know, just depression, you know, and, you know, the bad winning, you know, constantly, you know, with no good. Can you keep into that, you know? I don't know.
160, 170 issues.
Yeah, I suppose if you look at Walking Dead, that's exactly right, and people are still buying it. Yeah, so
cool. Well, there's a lot more to read.
There is. What's your thoughts of it, though? I mean,
I like
you enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really different experience because I've been reading it in single issues, you know, and so it's kind of like you read it over a long period of time. So it's probably not as gut churning because you get it in like little chunks.
Yeah, that's true because you get those little spaced out. Maybe.
And also, I kind of know now. I mean, hearing that's interesting. And I may have felt that way, but I mean, the story's changed a lot because it's up to like 27 issues or whatever. A lot's happened since then.
That's good.
So.
Yeah, well, it doesn't surprise me. Like I said, it does move, at least for the story here and now, it moves at a hell of a pace.
Yeah.
It does.
It slows down a little bit, but it's still a lot happens every year.
Okay.
So that's good.
And that could be. Maybe it's just trying to show.
I like it because it's kind of like a fantasy, but it's got an interesting twist. And it's kind of like, you know, I like the art, and it's just the characters you start to kind of get into.
Do you start to get to a little bit more? Because I think that was maybe some of the problem of the first 10 is it's really focusing more on him and where the hell he's been, and maybe a little bit more on the brother. You know, the
brother starts to play kind of a bigger role.
Okay,
you start to find some things out about him.
Okay,
so it gets more interesting that way. So there's a lot of twists and reveals and things you didn't know.
That's good. That's good.
You know, that there's a sort of another layer sort of thing. So that's good.
No, makes sense. Didn't you read this one as well then, Don?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it. It's been a while since I've read it, but I mean, I remember really liking it. The art's really good.
Oh, yes. The art is fantastic.
I guess I don't...
Are you missing an issue here?
As you were talking about not having anybody to root for, and kind of like with Black Science, it's like I kind of like stories about the bad guys sometimes.
Do you?
I mean, And I had that same kind of issue with. I kept thinking about Breaking Bad.
Well, the bad guy in Black Science, he's not a bad guy. He's just
I know, but
there's a bad guy and there's him who's more like just really flawed.
Scott is saying that the characters are very flawed and it's hard to root for them. And what I'm saying is like Breaking Bad. I had an issue with that TV show because it's like
this is a guy that started off fairly good and then turned bad.
And it's like there's really nobody in that entire series to root for. But like with comic books, I don't know. I guess it's different. I don't even think about it that way. I mean, every once in a while, it's almost like, you know, when they had that, which I never read, but I mean, they had Joker had his own series. You know, it's like the series about
but the thing is that you go into that expecting that.
Right.
You know, you're reading about a villain. If you read something new like that type of thing, you're trying to pick up into something there. Do you need that person to root for? Do you not? I don't know. You know, if I go into something not knowing that I'm reading about this villain and I'm supposed to do that, then I don't know what it is for me. It's kind of difficult there to try to get that.
Oh, I get it. Like I get it.
Whereas if I pick up something in which it's Joker, I'm going to go, oh yeah, I'm going to read something in which I'm going to expect him to be, you know, killing people, whatever the hell else he's going to do.
Maybe I've just always had a bigger tolerance for the bad guys. I kind of like that perspective with Birthright, where it does that twist, and he is, or you think he is, or you don't.
Yeah, it could be. You know, and there's certain times in which and maybe it's a mood type of thing. Maybe it is the type of story, you know, because flawed characters and whatever the heck else. I mean, hell, that makes what Sin City, you know, Frank Miller stuff. I mean, hell, they're all full of flaws, but yet there's still somebody to root for, you know, type of things.
Yeah.
Even through some of that flaws, you know, stuff. Maybe it's just the story, how it's written, you know, whatever the heck else. Maybe. I don't know, type of thing. There's something different there where, you know, it's more that kind of vigilante, dark type of thing. You know, I mean, hell, that's why Batman's probably as popular. There's something there, you know. Yeah. He's not always the greatest of guys to root for. Granted, he doesn't kill people, but I mean, still, he's this kind of dark guy that doesn't do things exactly always by the book, you know. Going back to Black Science, you know, type thing. I mean, there's so many.
Not that he's bad. That character is weak.
He's like maybe that's it.
He's exactly. He has a weak will.
There's just so many flaws.
And that's the thing about him. It's like you know, like Marv. He's a killer, like in Sin City, but he's noble.
Yes, has a certain nobility.
You know, I mean? Or like the Joker. You know, what I mean, he's just pure evil. So that's one thing. Yes. But the guy in the Black Science book, he's just a weak.
He reminds me
person.
And you guys. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Did you guys ever read or watch The Strain?
Yeah. I know.
Okay, so I watched It's Done. Like they adapted the whole thing, like it ended. But the main character is like a doctor for like CDC. He reminds me a lot of that character in Black Science. He's just very weak. Like he's very flawed. Like, you know, he has an affair. You know, his wife has left him. He's an alcoholic, you know, through the whole strain or whatever, but he comes around. I mean, like, he fucking nuts up and does what he needs to do at the end, and I wonder, you know, because isn't it, like, later on in Black Science, like, doesn't he kind of, like, step up?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, somewhat kind of. I mean,
but I mean, I'm talking like maybe even later on. I don't know, past where he's at or whatever.
I haven't read past that.
So I think you don't read it.
I think they're trying to make him become more. I mean, yeah, you can tell in the later. I think he's trying to become more heroic.
I think there's a point in that story where, because if you've only read up to 16, I don't know how many are out, but I read it monthly, so I mean, I'm behind.
They're in the 30s.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I think they're spoiler alert or whatever. I could be completely wrong because I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday, but I think there's a point where he kind of steps up and nuts up and he's like, oh, I got to do, like, I've effed this up completely, and I've got to try to do what I can to make it right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, with Birthright, though, I think maybe it's just Scott hasn't read for enough. It's really more about this kid. Okay, he got captured, and he's, you know, something went wrong, and he got taken over by this evil thing, and he came back, and he's trying to do whatever, you know. But it's almost like more of a, you know, Anakin Skywalker type of thing, where it's about him trying to be redeemed. Yeah, he's on the bad path.
Very good point.
You know, you're trying to bring him back from that. It's not really his fault either, because he had a really rough situation. You know what I mean?
There, yeah.
So,
and that's what I expect, and
I think that's kind of where it's,
you know, type things. And yes, you get that feel, and maybe because of the fact that reading through there, like I said,
you're in the part where they don't even know he's bad yet.
For
like
me,
all the people
that's right. For a lot of that point, you don't know it. The brother is starting to figure out something's not quite right.
But the dad's totally clueless.
The dad's totally clueless. The mom's still trying to come to terms with it. I think somewhat has. But like I said, I think that's maybe the only thing there that if I had anything with it was the fact that it just seemed like the pacing in the world is so much faster than given what the heck the flashback is, that I just feel like you're behind there in trying to get to understand what some of the motivations are there. And to me personally, would that help improve some of that? I don't know. It's hard to tell. I don't want to discount it. I think it's still very good. I read the dang thing sitting down, in freaking 2 hours, so it moves at a quick pace. It's still a good story. Like I say, to me, it just had that slight flaw of, do I really?
There's really nothing to root for.
That's right. It's still very tough at this point to root for anybody. You want to keep going because you're hoping that happens, but how long can you sustain that type of stuff before you actually start making that turn? Or are you just going to flat out say, yeah, this is where this thing's going to go, and I'm just going to go totally dark and go with that route? It just makes it difficult in some of that type of thing to get there and go, does that make a good story when they go that way? I don't know.
Gotcha.
It depends on what you read it for. Are you reading something for enjoyment and hopefully something to help, make you change your attitude about things or whatever the heck else, or make you a little happier, or do you want to read something that's dark and whatever the heck else? In sometimes you may want to do that, but it depends on if you know it's coming or not. Sometimes too, because you want to be in that particular mood maybe for it.
All right, I'm gonna spoil the hell out of Chasing Hitler for you.
Is she chasing Hitler?
She?
He?
Okay. Yes. All right. So this is created by Haley Nitz and written by Jai and Haley Nitz. Which Haley Nitz was at Air Capital Con. So
is this the Red 5 version, or is this?
I believe this is the Kickstarter version cover.
Okay. Jungle Boy Press.
So it's all right. Now I'm just gonna say this. I met Haley, got the comic, got it signed. She seems really nice, great person.
I think she was at the table just
right across.
She was right across from me.
Yeah. Over there.
Okay, I don't buy the setup. Like, I just don't buy it. But if I can get past, I want to read the rest of it because I think if I can get past the setup, it should be a good story. I just don't buy it. So basically, this whole first issue is set up. It's like 1945, World War II. The Allies are closing in. The Russians are closing in. It's the end of the war. Hitler's holed up in his bunker, and Hitler decides that so all his guys are like giving up on him. They're like, we're done. And Hitler's like, you guys still don't believe in the fatherland, blah blah blah. So he decides to fake his and Ava Braun's. They both fake their deaths, and then they escape. I just don't buy the escape setup at all. So they have the so in the book Hitler's like, okay, he's like, I want to get married. So he marries Eva Braun. They have like a wedding celebration, whatever. They end up finding these two, whatever you call them, patsies or whatever, that are supposed to look like them. So they drug them, then they kill them, and then they burn the bodies and leave like a suicide note. I think at some point, if you're talking about Hitler, even in 1945, you're going to do a little bit more. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong because I've grown up in CSI, but I don't know if you're just going to find a pile of ash and go, okay, so Hitler's dead. You know what I mean? Maybe I just thought of something. Maybe that would work back then. But anyway, so you meet the two guys on the cover. You meet, I believe he's like a French guy and an American guy, and they kind of team up, and they're supposed to go, and they're going to take out Hitler. They're going to the fortress or whatever. So they're just kind of moseying along, and they see like it's all grass, and there's like a door, a hatch that opened from the bunker, and they see this open hatch from the bunker, and they go, hey, Hitler got away. Let's go chase him. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. And I don't want to talk, I just didn't, it didn't feel right. You know what I mean? Like, it just seemed weird. But I think it's a cool story, and I think it's an interesting story. So obviously those guys didn't buy it. It just felt kind of weird that they stumble onto this hatch open in the middle of everywhere, and they're like, "Oh, Hitler got away." I mean, but I think it's a cool story. I'm not trying to.
Well, it's kind of interesting. It sounds like it's building on one of those theories that was always out there for the longest
Yeah,
time.
and that could be what it is too.
Yeah.
And obviously, I have hindsight from
That's
70
always
years
been
or
one
whatever.
of those conspiracy theories that Hitler got away and faked his death
Exactly.
or something like this, type
Yeah.
of stuff. And this is
So,
maybe trying just to
Like I said, I
maybe
mean,
build on a possibility.
How would you do it, Don? If the theory of the story is that Hitler got away,
Well, I wouldn't.
How
And-
would you figure
and
out?
now that-
How would people figure it out and start chasing him?
I don't know. I
Open
now
house
that-
seems like a good theory to me.
So when I read it, I kind of like didn't buy into it. Now as I talk about it and listen to you guys,
Solidifying
like
a little
I'm
bit.
coming around a little bit. Like maybe the stuff I initially thought wasn't correct.
why?
So is Haley
Like I
the
said-
author then?
Yeah.
Or- okay.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
artist was
basically,
Jethro
No.
Morales.
Oh, Jeffrey
no.
Morales.
Haley Nitz created the concept, and then Haley Nitz and Jai Nitz both wrote the story.
Wrote the story. Okay.
And then the Jethro guy is the artist.
Okay.
Yes. So, yes, maybe I was completely wrong. And when I read it,
And did you say this
Knowing-
was a Kickstarter or originally?
it was kickstarted, but it's been picked up by a publisher. So, like, number one is out. It was solicited through previews. I believe it'll be. I think she said it was 4
There's
issues.
4 issues, yeah.
So she was like, number 2 comes out in whatever December, January, February. Like she knows when they're all coming out. So
Cool.
they will all be out. But at the comic book convention, she had. Is it Red 5?
Red 5 Comics.
Okay, so Red 5 Comics is the publisher. Like they picked it up to publish it. Excuse me. So she had both versions. She had the Red 5 cover and she had the Kickstarter version. And the regular one was like $4 and this one was like $5. And I just wanted a copy of the book and I wanted her to sign it. So I was there and all I had was like a 5. And it was very early Sunday. They both just gotten there. And they're like, well, which one do you want? And I'm like, I don't care. And they're like, well, this one's 4 and this one's 5. And I'm like, well, then give me the 4. And I gave them the 5 and they just couldn't find change right away to give me $1 back. And I'm like, just keep the $1 or just give me you know what I mean? It was just kind of so I mean, I really just wanted to read the story, but I ended up getting the Kickstarter version copy,
Sweet.
I guess. So,
Yeah.
But, no, it was good. And I think I've come around now. Like sometimes I just have to talk things through.
But you never know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like these two guys are stumbling through. They look down. Maybe they knew they were around, and it just wasn't. Either I didn't catch it, or it wasn't explained exactly. Like we're in the area of where we think Hitler's bunker is, so there's an open hatch. It just seemed like these two guys are walking through the woods, and they stumble across this hatch, and they're like, "Oh my God, Hitler got away!" You know what I mean? So, anyway, I definitely want to get the rest of it and read it because I think it was good.
Like the art?
Yeah, the art was good. I think is that.
Greg Small.
That's what I thought. But
I just can't believe you jumped ahead in the order on me. I thought it was my turn to do the next book.
I thought it was my turn. I've only done.
No, I think
How many have you done?
2. I
Did
did
I
Hellboy and
Well, it's been a while
Superhero
since
for
I
a
talked,
day.
so
Well,
I
that's
thought it
'cause
was
I
my
talked so
turn.
long about
It's
Birthright, so I
fine. I'm
apologize.
very sorry I jumped ahead.
I've been
I
pretty
think it was
talkative
like
tonight
Scott,
on those
me,
ones,
you,
so-
then Scott, me, you, and
My
then
bad.
Scott, you, me, apparently.
Okay,
Well, go
dude,
for it.
you're son
Hey,
of-
just bring us home.
Shut
Reel
up.
it in there. You got
I
it
didn't
all.
want all that pressure to be the last one.
You
I've
got
got one
all of
more
it.
that I can talk about. That's why I jumped ahead.
Sauce.
It'll be so fast it won't even matter.
Son of Shaolin.
That looks
So I only
fantastic.
bought this because the cover looks so cool.
It
Isn't that a cool
does.
looking cover?
Is that an original?
It's OGN.
OGN?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
OGN. So I saw it in previews. I didn't order it, but then I did pick it up through another
Is that Image?
like it's Image.
Okay.
So basically the premise is there's these Shaolin monks and there's like 5 different spirit animals, and the
Of
powers
course.
of these spirit animals follow different bloodlines. Well, if you kill the person who has the power, it goes to like the next person in their bloodline. Well, if their bloodline ends and you kill that person, then you get to take over that power, right? So it starts off with this guy. He's got 4 of the 5 spirit animal powers.
There can only be one.
And it's very Highlanderish to start out.
It's the Infinity
Yeah,
Gauntlet.
and so he finds the guy, and the guy is like lives in Harlem, and he's kind of like a street vigilante kind of guy, but he's got these cool kung fu powers.
He's like shown up.
Exactly, but he's a good guy. He fights crime. All right, but this guy finds him, who's got the 4, and he kills him and defeats him, and he's like looking at his arm because they like appear as symbols on your arm when you have all the powers, and it doesn't appear. It's because the guy has a son that nobody knows about, son of Shaolin. So the story's about him trying to find his son. Well, not really. It's really about the son discovering his heritage and realizing that he's got to train to unlock these awesome kung fu powers. And at the same time, this guy's hunting him down. There's like an old mentor guy who kind of like trains him and stuff, you know. There are some twists at the end that I won't give away. But no, it's really cool. It's kind of fun. You know, if you like kung fu, if you like kind of street vigilante type stuff, daredevil type stuff, it's pretty fun. It's fairly, it's fairly
I
thick.
flipped through it. It looked pretty good.
Fairly thick. The art's kind of cool. He's got kind of a Paul Galassi type thing, you know, like that real kind of thick sort of line that really works well for like this kind of street kind of.
Paul Galassi did like the hands of
And,
Kung Fu
yeah,
and
so
all
it's
that kind
so
of
the
old
art's
70s
yeah.
Marvel
So
stuff.
I mean, the art style kind of reminds me of Paul Galassi, and it really fits. And the action sequences are kind of cool.
Wow.
I mean, there's like it's like very kung fu-ish. I don't know, it's cool.
Does one of them get to glow?
Not gonna spoil the story,
Yeah.
but it's
from the Last Dragon.
yeah.
Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. Anyway, it was a fairly quick read.
Do not.
And it was a lot of fun, a lot of action, kind of neat, kind of concept. I mean, it's
There's no
nothing's-
comparison between Kung Fu Panda and The Last Dragon, sir. Please
Nothing-
not.
nothing super original, but
Yeah,
yet
you
again,
got
it's
it.
got some interesting twists on a regular on a concept we've seen before. I don't know. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was fun. If they come up with another one, I'd probably check it out.
Cool. So it didn't end?
There's a twist at the end where it can
Nice.
kind of keep going, and so I won't spoil that either. But yeah,
Gotcha.
it's definitely not necessarily the end. I don't know how well it's going to do as an OGN. OGNs are kind of like the death knell of modern comic books to a certain degree, but I don't know. I guess
So I did read, but I did not bring. I just wanted to mention real quick. I read I don't even know what number it is. It's the Spider-Man. It's the Greg Smallwood fill-in Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
issue.
did you read that? How was it?
It was really good. It's a Norman Osborn, Green Goblin story.
Oh, cool.
And it has a twist at the end, but it's very good. The art was awesome, and the story was really cool. It's a standalone story, Norman Osborn, Green Goblin story.
Cool.
But yeah, I had it. I swear I had it in my bag. I brought it to have Greg sign it, and then I could find it Sunday. So,
Sorry, sounds like a very disappointing experience.
but I'm very happy because I got a sketch from him in my sketchbook.
Yeah, it looked really cool. Do you have it with you? Can we show everybody?
No, I don't have it with me.
Lame.
I have a picture of it on my phone.
All right. Cool.
We can show that.
No, I
A
think that
phone
would be
on
a
a
weird
phone.
phone showing a phone. You might get a weird look into the infinite
Infinite
and
universe.
lose your mind. Yeah, I think
But-
that would happen.
No, very cool Punisher. I was happy
Cool.
that I finally got that done. So
Did you have any time to walk around the cons on either day, Scott? Or were you so busy?
I was.
Was
Saturday
Xander
was,
there? I didn't see him.
Xander was there on Saturday. He helped me move a lot of stuff in.
Oh, okay.
He was. I don't know. He needed to be there the same day as Izzy.
Oh,
Isabel was working that day, so she came on Sunday. Unfortunately, Xander didn't come there at the same time, so he just doesn't. He's too shy, type stuff. So he just doesn't get out there and whatever else. Whereas Isabel's more outgoing one. So if she would have been there, he would have had a lot more enjoyable time. But
Cool.
as it was, I mean, he seemed to be kind of bored. I tried to talk him into going to the esports area or whatever the heck else and those type of things. He really didn't do too much there, but he was still a good help, to help me get stuff in there. and
Well,
kinda
next
help
year you
set
should come
up.
to the drinking draw because you can have kids there up until midnight.
Really?
We actually took Zach with us. He
Cool.
just played video games half the time, or most of the
Yeah,
time.
I should do that. If I could ever get my ass in gear and be freaking ready well beforehand. I
it's
mean,
hard.
what ends up being this Friday night, I'm freaking
yeah.
still doing these last minute touches. I'm
Gotcha.
filling the van, all that other type of stuff because I am like, I don't know how the hell Don does it. I cannot get my ass up before freaking 6 a.m. at all. So on Saturday, I'm usually getting up, about 6:30, maybe something like this. Xander and I get up. We've done this the last 2 or 3 years. We get up. I take him out to breakfast. We get the van then, and when we head up there. But by the time we get up there, it's what, like 8:30 or something like this.
Sounds a lot more fun than my Saturday.
But probably so. But I mean, that's just kind of the thing that we get into, whatever
cool.
else. But but on the flip side, I still get up by 6:30. I still feel like I'm freaking dead by the end of the day, type things. But yeah, I still can't get to sleep or whatever else. But even then, I get there at 8:30. I try to set up, and I'm still setting up until the last damn minute.
Right.
At 10 o'clock. Ideally, I should probably be there when everybody else is at 7. But I can't. Like I say, I can't get there that damn early.
I didn't get home from the drink and draw, dropping people off until probably 12:31.
There you go. And that's my thing. I just don't know.
I was up at 5. So I had like 4 hours of sleep.
See, I'm getting too old for that.
And then I went home Saturday night. We stopped, got something to eat, and I was probably in bed at like 9:30, and then I slept in until like maybe 6. So it felt like I felt really good Sunday morning because I had more than like 4 hours of sleep.
There you go. Well, I did make a round or two. On Saturday I did once. Really didn't take a very good close look at much. I did talk with JT, I think they're a pop guy or whatever you want to say, because I'm always looking for some for my kids, and so I picked up one from him there while we were chatting there a little bit. Took a little bit of a look at the board game area, see what kind of games they had. I would have liked to probably spend more time over there just because they had some games I'd like to demo. But, on Sunday, I probably took a little bit more of a look around, but I still really just didn't pick up much. So
I guess one day you'll just have to not vend and just hang out with us at the headquarters.
Yeah, that may be it, or do that. And
don't get rid of one of our vendors.
I would love to actually spend a day, and probably either help out with the gaming area or actually play some games, or demo some games, whatever it may be. Learn one that I can demo to people throughout the day or whatever the heck else, if it's one that I like. Ideally, that would be what I'd love to do. But as it is right now, I'm just thankful to be part of it. Thank you guys for letting me be in there, and as it is, I treat it as something to get rid of, clean out a lot of crap in my basement. So which always works out and gets me a little extra Christmas money, whatever you want to say there, type stuff too. So
talking about the board gaming stuff, I can't remember who it was. I think it was David.
Yeah.
He came up to me like Saturday night, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna play Axis and Allies tomorrow. He's like, you should come over and play. I was like, okay, doesn't the game take like a long time? Yeah. I'm like, I'd love to, but I can't.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was watching Concast, which I want to plug Concast too because they let us come on, and they did a live podcast, I think on Saturday from the con, but I was watching because they do theirs on Tuesday nights from the Borough, and I was watching last night, and David Turner was on there, and he's like, they do their Geekgasms of the week or whatever, and he was, I think his was, I got to play Axis and Allies on Sunday. One guy's like, wow, he's like, that's like Risk on steroids. He's like, how long did that take? And David was like, about 6 hours. Like, oh my god. Yes, let me spend the entire day at the con that I'm helping to put on and run to play Axis and Allies. There's no way I would have been able to sit still.
Well, it did look like they had a couple of games there this is the great thing about...
I think it was fun for them, but there's just no way in hell I could have done it.
Well, here's one of the great things of how, I think technology, social media, and things of that nature are coming along, at least in some respects with that, is that there was... I think somebody that even posted, at AirCap that they would be demoing a couple of games there, type stuff. Right. I mean, almost even done it as an invite, if I remember right, too, and things. And I thought that was really great because you could try to get in there, and it was at least telling me what some of the games beforehand, and it looked like the type that I would like, where you wouldn't be sitting there for 6 hours, it'd be more in an hour type range or whatever the heck else. And there were some fairly, I want to say more recent type of titles, fairly new type things, which I would have thought would have been, if they can keep that up type stuff, I think that's great from a con perspective, whatever else. Yeah. That's something that draws me in anyway. Yeah. But I'm also board game fanatic or
Right.
whatever else too.
I saw, I think, a post from Tabletop Heroes or somebody. They said that they brought in they had 80 games in there.
They did have quite a few. I did, and that was probably when walking around. I probably spent more time there looking at some of the games and whatever the heck else, type stuff. Although I didn't get a chance to play any. So.
I think it was on Sunday. I walked over and Barbara and Parker and Ben, they were playing Skip-Bo.
Oh, cool.
At
Really?
one of the tables, so they had Skip-Bo there.
Well, and I'm always real, from a con perspective too, I'm always real hesitant to actually buy any art from, well, maybe if I was probably doing more of the more original type stuff or commission type things that you guys do or whatever else, maybe, but at least the preset type stuff that they have, type things, because I know my kids go around there and they pick up stuff, for me and things of this nature, and they know what I like, and so I'm always afraid of buying the same damn thing, type stuff. So while I look at it, I generally don't buy too much art, but I end up getting some because I usually get some from my kids for Christmas. So,
That's awesome.
which I always think is cool.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, Slate. Time needs to get up early. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next
Thanks.
time.